It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Is it really, though?
Sometimes, yes.
I mean, it could either be the best thing in the world because you get to hear exactly what you want to hear, see exactly what you want to see, or it can be momentarily the worst thing in the world, and then in a year later, it becomes a meme, and then we can show it and laugh.
But then we get hyped all over again, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. I mean, we have nobody but ourselves to blame, honestly.
Exactly.
So anyway, this is our annual PrE3 discussion. With us today, we have Anthony / AntDude 92. Is this the first time you've officially been on the channel?
I think I believe so. Yes.
Okay, welcome. You will never wash the stink off.
Yeah.
That's fine. I mean, I'm fine with
cursed,
the stink. This was in the contract, I think.
The C
We have a
stands for
contract?
curse.
I think I signed something.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, basically, we're just going to be spending a bit of time here, nice little podcast, discussing what we think might happen at this year's E3 2018, and
If Walmart doesn't spoil it all first.
assuming, yeah,
Fingers
Damn it,
crossed.
you're not going food shopping the next 2 weeks at Walmart anytime soon. So we basically go down like all gaming developers, companies, and we talk about what we think might happen, what we want to see, what we expect to see, all that sort of jazz. So do we start from the top? Who's got the list here?
I have the list, and starting off on Saturday, June 9th is EA.
Hell yeah. Hell
God.
yeah, dude.
Here's how this conference is going to go down. They are either going to do everything humanly possible to avoid saying the words microtransaction, loot boxes, or in-app purchases, or they are going to spend the entire thing saying, no loot boxes in this game, even though we're going to shoehorn in something equally as devious on the side and hope you don't notice.
So you're expecting them to go in full damage control, basically.
Basically,
That's kind of what they need to do, because EA has been in damage control mode for like, what, 4 years now? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, wasn't that their whole
But
hype for Battlefront 2 was, listen, we apologize, and I don't think they can do that again.
No, they can't do the whole South Park BP we're sorry thing again. We at this point, I think it's pretty clear to most people, unless you're just like super into sports games, that EA is kind of full of shit at this point.
And one good indie game from out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Because they showed off A Way Out last year, and I finally played that, and it was damn good. And EA has their name. They have one game they're gonna show.
So, I mean, other than that, though, like, they're gonna do their indie sizzle reel. They're gonna spend far too much time talking about Madden and FIFA. Like, there's out of all the E3 bingos, EA's is the easiest to win. With that said, are there any, like, games that we might actually care about that they might show off or announce at EA?
I'm sure they'll show off Anthem, which they did last year as a teaser for BioWare's new game. We'll see how that goes, because at least it's probably going to be filled with, they're probably going to force some kind of in-app purchases sort of thing with it, because it has the whole gear system, and unfortunately EA's track record of just making developers worse and worse until they finally just
Which
decide
is
to kill
so
them
unfortunate, because I thought Anthem was one of the good-looking things last year from EA.
Which one was Anthem again?
The Iron Man game, where you're just flying
around.
Oh,
that one, yeah. That looked okay.
I thought it looked so cool, and then they start pulling off all this other bullshit.
Yeah, it's gonna get ruined somehow.
Legendary gear!
Yeah.
It's like, come on, guys.
Legendary would mean I would know what you're referring to. I don't. It just is. It's just gold.
It's a better gun.
Yeah.
But what if they get Pele to talk about it?
If the conference begins with Iron Man flying down the stage and the helmet opens up and it's Pele, okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah, 10 out of 10 conference. Best of
Everything's forgiven.
Best anime reveals.
Do they have anything BioWare? Like,
that's
expecting?
Anthem. That's Anthem.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Anthem is the big BioWare thing.
Okay, so people aren't going to be expecting like a Dragon Age or anything like that, then, right?
Probably.
Well,
not.
people always want those kind of games. Whether or not you're going to get them is another thing.
Well, want versus expect is an entirely different thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So EA, Damage Control, one decent-looking indie game, and Anthem.
Everyone's going to be having the biggest stink eyes.
Yeah.
Hey, I guess that
be
means they're going to be getting the attention they want, though, because everyone's going to see how much they're going to fuck up or apologize.
I don't know about stink
There
eyes,
is-
because if you go into EA expecting anything but to have stink eyes, then that's your fault.
Yeah,
This is going to be the year EA redeems themselves.
No, it's not.
For
yeah,
one redemption, that's $5.
Sense of accomplishment. So, moving on, I'm assuming we have nothing else to say about EA at this point.
No, not really.
Moving on is oddly second this time is Microsoft.
Yeah,
Sunday, June
usually Ubisoft or Bethesda's after EA, because EA
Well,
is always first.
It's usually the third-party ones and then the console guys.
Yeah.
So this is a bit weird. Microsoft's bumping themselves up a bit. I'm not sure what the reasoning behind that is. I guess they don't want to be potentially overshadowed immediately by Sony and Nintendo like 24 hours later.
That might make sense, because it's easier to keep your announcements in the public eye for longer when you're only competing against Bethesda and Square and Ubisoft as opposed to the other two big dogs. With that said, though, do you think they finally show off whatever the hell Scorpio is this year?
No, that was the one. That was the One X. Yeah, that was
that was the One X. I thought it was something different.
No, it was One X. It was One X.
Okay, well.
They should be hyping something up though, because they said their conference is going to be 2 hours.
2 hours.
2 hours.
Oh, why?
Maybe that was just rumblings, so it may not be final. But from what I read, they said 2 hours.
Well, I mean, I
Really?
think about it. Conferences are about what, an hour and a half already.
Yeah, but you
So
go
you
that
hour
extra
and a
mile.
Hour and a half.
would
Hour and a
say.
half. I think is pushing it too. Is just you better have some really impressive stuff
Goddamn,
there.
it's like
Yeah,
fucking Raw-
especially
Raw
when it's
doesn't need to-
Microsoft, when they need to show off impressive
It's
stuff.
fucking-
Yeah.
Raw doesn't
They've
need
been
to be
lagging.
Raw doesn't need to be 3 hours long.
Well, yes, but we
I
still
mean,
watch it.
I mean, here's the thing. You can just have one of those, clickers every time they say console exclusive
Yeah.
from a Microsoft thing, and it's kind of like you're going to run into the same problems you have the last number of years, so you either need to have something that's just on Xbox to make that 2 hours worthwhile, or you're just kind of like,
Well, no, they're not going to do
we're-
that because
we're-
they've already confirmed
Yeah.
that all their first-party Xbox games will also be on PC going forward.
yeah, I know, so that makes me question why it's 2 hours. It's like, oh, we're going to show, the Assassin's Creed and the Call of Duty and blah, 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 blah. It's like, but we're going to see those in other things, so why is this 2 hours?
Yeah.
To be fair, though, sometimes I ask that at Sony as well, where they're showing off the multi-platform stuff, and it's just like, okay, but why do I need to play that on PlayStation when I could get that on PC or Xbox? I mean, again, like, not to
Well,
say that
that's
makes
a third-party
Xboxes...
thing. That's a third-party thing in general. You watch Sony because they interspin it with their own exclusives.
Yeah,
I guess that makes
that.
sense.
And the fact is, there are folks who are so loyal to the brand that they invest in that they won't watch Microsoft or Ubisoft. They'll simply just watch the Sony conference, and they got to get their third-party exposures somehow.
Right.
And I think that's a justification for it. If you're
Yeah,
if you're like
that
us
leads-
and you're watching all of it, then yeah, it does seem redundant.
Yeah.
That's not inherently the problem. It's just the 2 hours I'm talking about. It's like you're either going to show a lot of these games, or you better have a ton of games. Because I'm just worried about that. Like, if that's true. Anyway, regarding like games, is there anything in particular you guys expect or want to see?
Well, I'm looking at the Games Radar article right now, talking about the stuff that they expect. Crackdown 3 is something that they have written down. I've never played.
Apparently,
Yeah,
that may be getting delayed until 2019.
Okay.
Yeah, because that got shown last year, and then they never showed gameplay of it. So that will be something they probably show.
There's also Forza, which they show every year, so
It's
and
it's
it's a car game.
it's a racing game. It's the same thing regardless. It just looks slightly better now.
The other big one that people are talking about is Halo. People are saying that Halo 6 is gonna be a thing.
Okay at this
It'll
point.
look like Halo.
Yeah, it'll be Halo.
I think Master Chief will be in it, maybe.
It's so weird to
it's
see what used to be like the first-person shooter become such a so what franchise now.
Well, because other franchises caught up in terms of the multiplayer, and Halo kind of crapped itself with its story to the point where no one cares anymore.
Well, I mean, I guess that's true, but nobody cares about the story in Call of Duty either.
Yeah, but you
So-
played Halo because the story was actually something.
Yeah, the story and the world that it builds and stuff.
Yeah.
And when that got bad, it stopped being important. It just became another first-person shooter.
Okay, I guess that makes sense. It's just a shame though, because Microsoft probably, in terms of like the hardcore market, was the winner, quotation marks, last gen. And this gen, they've just been kind of a nothing entity.
Yeah, but I kind of
like, the
attribute that
past.
to the PS3 kind of failing at the start, so Microsoft just took what Sony dropped.
Yeah, that huge price point was
Once
basically
Sony started picking up
to.
Steam, no one looked. No, a lot of people didn't look back.
Well, so you're saying like Microsoft essentially rested on their laurels?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's basically, the past couple of years has basically just been a Nintendo-Sony butting heads war in terms of, at the very least, in terms of fan base excitement. Microsoft's just kind of been there for like 3-4 years now.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know, it's disappointing just to see one of the big companies not doing anything interesting, you know?
Well, I mean, the big problem is nothing is really exclusive to them.
No.
Everything they say that Microsoft itself makes is also on PC. So when you say buy an Xbox One X for $500, you might as well save up a bit more and get a decent gaming rig.
Yeah.
Because everybody needs a computer, but not everybody needs
It's an
An Xbox, exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I still
so
have not.
that-
I still, my brother and I, we got an Xbox One. I think this is like the third year in a row I'm mentioning this. We got an Xbox One like 3 years ago with one half and half on it, and I haven't touched that son of a bitch at all. Like, because I don't feel the need to. Everything I want is either on the PS4 or I can just play it on the computer just fine. Like, I see no reason to play it.
And
That
I
was
saw
an
some rumblings that
irresponsible spending decision.
No, Mark plays it, because Mark
Okay.
doesn't have a gaming computer, but it's like, I got no reason to put it on myself.
Yeah.
I can do everything from this box.
Like, and I saw somewhere online that I think the original Sunset Overdrive got rated for PC, I think in Korea or something. So it's like, that's one of the 3 console exclusives that are just coming to PC now.
I'd be interested. I've said this before elsewhere, but not in like a video. But I think at this point it'd be wiser for Microsoft to kind of bow out of consoles themselves after this, and use the Xbox name to develop like mid-tier accessible gaming PCs and laptops.
I don't think they'll do that.
I don't think they will, but I think it'd be smarter for them to do that at this point.
I don't know if there's as much money in there because you're then only serving a niche demographic. Is the problem? I would see.
You're not serving many people now. Is the problem?
I understand, and what I'm going to say right now I don't think is a smart idea, but I think it's more likely we see them try to make Xbox stuff more, like even more so to the fact they already now multimedia devices, as opposed to making them more like computers that play games. Because that seems more accessible to the casual eye. Again, I don't think that's smart, but I see that more happening. What I want to know is, what kind of announcement do you think would make you guys excited at a Microsoft conference? Because I can't think of it.
I mean, properly using one of Rare's old IPs.
Yeah, like if they actually decided to say, okay, fine, we'll finally make a Banjo 3E or whatever, that will get some hype.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
they
actually
made a real
use Conquer instead of abusing him.
Yeah, real Conquer, Perfect Dark, any of them actually probably.
If they do that in the reigns of now with Insane Trilogy and Spyro Reignited on the cusp of being released to more audience members out there, they can, that'd be pretty hype, I'd imagine.
I mean, the
even
90s
if-
platformer is becoming big now, so they can just reimagine Banjo-Kazooie, and that would be fine.
You see, well, here's the thing. I don't think I would be as excited. Well, okay, I'm gonna put on a maybe here because if I see Banjo-Tooie in like 4K realistic graphics, I'll probably
You'll buy
shit my
it.
pants.
Yeah, you'll buy it.
But okay, so saying right now that I might be 100% full of bullshit. I don't necessarily know if I want a reimagined Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie because we already have fantastic versions of both of those games on XBLA and Rare Replay.
But it's the popular thing to do now, so I can see them doing it as a, hey, here's a much better version, much better visually looking Banjo-Kazooie and Tooie. If you buy it, we'll make a 3 or something.
Yeah, and you don't have to worry about them making any creative, weird decisions. It would just be to take the game and make it pretty.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I guess.
Come on,
I
Ted.
think a real 3 would make me more excited, personally.
It
sure.
would, but I can see them doing the remasters to test the waters, especially since they've had a pretty track record with their franchises so far.
Yeah,
I can
like,
also
do the
imagine
remasters. do the remasters, the test waters, see if audiences will eat it up. They will. You know they will. And then you go further from there. Exactly what they did with Crash. I mean, Ted, we were talking about, like, you know, MomoCon last week about how we fucking orgasm over Adventure 1 and 2 remakes. You know.
That's true.
You know, that, but it's the same thing for just Banjo-Kazooie fans.
I guess that's true. But I guess the thing is that I'm thinking about what happened with Mighty Number 9, and when they finally released a Mega Man 11, people got really, really excited. Yooka-Laylee came out, and while I know that that's not as universally hated as Mighty Number 9, it's certainly a mixed game. I love it personally. I know a lot of people don't. So I can imagine, like, okay, this spiritual successor came out. It's not a smash hit. Here's the real thing, the real Banjo sequel. You know, I think that that would get people super, super excited. But then again, you guys are right. At the same time, Microsoft might feel the need to prove that they can do it. You know, and a remaster might make them, I don't know. Again, I might hear like an orchestral version of like Glitter Gulch Mine from Banjo-Tooie or whatever and be like, nope, 10 out of 10, best game ever. So who knows? Maybe I might be full of shit right now. But we'll see.
That's the only thing I can really see regarding Microsoft that would really generate hype, because they might show another Gears game or something and it's like, okay, another shooter.
Yeah, they can maybe tease a new console, because I mean, if it's 2 hours, they know the Xbox One is dead. Like, so maybe
Not to
start
mention,
teasing.
I think that'd be a bad idea, considering
A lot of things they're doing are a bad idea. So I can
I
see
mean,
it
what
happening.
do they have to lose?
I mean, you announced the One X last year, and make that a big selling thing.
Well, they announced the
try
One
to
S and the One X last year, and that didn't do them any favors. So they don't make smart decisions.
Yeah, but here's the bigger problem with that. If you announce it now and say, oh, it's coming out late 2019 or something, you give Sony the complete edge to say, okay, here's what they're doing. We know the PS5's on the way.
Fair.
Let's plan on how to undercut them completely.
Okay, because Ryan makes a good point, because I remember the year where Sony announced the PlayStation 4. And they had their conference like 3 hours after Microsoft's. And their entire conference was basically, look at all this stuff about our console that's not the Xbox One.
Yeah.
Like, at the time when people thought that you needed to be always online, like, Sony was like, you don't need to be always online, and
you can borrow your friend's games.
Yeah, so it's just like, yeah, I don't know if they want to do that again. I think that they'd rather... Because I think we are getting to the point where within the next 2 or 3 years, we probably will start seeing announcements for new consoles.
No, they said the PS5 will probably be like a 2020 thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is fine. That's about a 78-year life cycle.
They have that was true then. That thing I read that they said that the PS4 is in its final.
Yeah, it's nearing the end, and they said like expect something. Expect something in 3 years.
God, that's
which is
so
fine.
weird.
Which is fine. That's 8 years. That's perfect. It doesn't
feels
feel
like it
that
hasn't
long,
been
but...
that long. I know.
No.
It's bizarre.
Well, I mean, it has been. It's been 5 years. Well, it'll be 5 years this year in November when it was released, and 5 years is about the standard.
Well, it was the standard.
Well, I mean, it seems to be the standard now if they're doing it again.
Well, no, they're not. They said they're not going to announce anything this year, so it'll be 6 next year if they decide to show it off at all.
Yeah.
Which means it'll probably be out in 2020, which will make it 7.
Yeah, like I know we're a little bit early to talk about that.
We'll talk more about the potential PS5 stuff for Sony. So I don't think it would be smart or even feasible to announce an Xbox whatever this year, especially after you announced the S and X last year.
Yeah.
Because that just throws a bad taste in people's mouths. It's like, well, why should I buy this latest Xbox when they're just going to make a new one next year?
Right.
Yeah. Is there anything else from Microsoft/Xbox that you guys are wanting or expecting, or should we move on to Bethesda?
Not particularly. I mean, Microsoft is always a very weird wild card in just what they'll show game-wise from third parties.
That's true.
So we'll just kind of see. I guess if there's nothing else, we'll move on to the next one.
Yeah, Bethesda. I should note that Bethesda's the only conference I skip every year because it airs at like midnight, and
Nope, it's 9:30 this year.
It's not. No, it's. Oh,
it's 9:30 Eastern.
Oh, damn it!
Eastern.
I don't.
You'll have to watch now.
Well, now I gotta watch it.
Well, okay, so I'm not a Western or PC person, so regardless of the quality of the games, in terms of Bethesda,
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah,
this
they just
isn't
don't.
my genre. They don't make stuff I'm interested in. So.
That's fair.
And that's
Yeah.
totally fine.
Yeah,
They did
but
technically announce something already.
Sure.
What was that?
Fallout 76.
Oh,
Which,
okay.
which I know we make the numerical jokes, and I know it technically has something to do with in-game, and the number has significance. It's just, oh boy, we jumped from Fallout 4 to 76.
Yeah, I saw a lot of that. By
It's
midnight,
like
I
the
was like, you guys are
N64
so
days
clever.
all over again.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, I
Yeah.
didn't know that. they
Where's
made
Super
another
Mario
4D
63?
All right.
We went from Battlefield 1 to 5.
And next week, AntDude's review of Rocky 5,000.
Ooh.
Adrian's Revenge.
1 star for each Rocky game. Or movie.
Oh man.
I don't know.
I mean,
Bethesda,
but-
I just want Doom 2. I don't
Yeah, I
I
want
don't
Doom 2
care
as
about
well.
anything else.
Can they
You know,
not
they'll-
call
they'll-
it Doom 2?
We'll see. I mean, they'll find another way to show off Skyrim again.
When do you-
Somehow.
Are they ever gonna make us Elder Scrolls 6?
No.
Is that even gonna happen?
Depends.
Or-
Can Todd Howard get his dick out of Skyrim?
No.
I mean, you're asking a lot.
But, I mean, they're usually at least trying to be funny and entertaining with like their theme park thing last year.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
know, they at least try. So compared to say Ubisoft, sometimes an EA, Bethesda at least tries. I will give them credit for that. They put effort into it.
That's true. They're also probably the closest to a PC show.
Well, there is a
There
PC
is-
showcase,
yeah.
but that's never a big deal. It's just kind of, hey, who wants to pop in and show us their game?
Yeah, but this is probably, I'd say, the conference that the PC gamers are probably the most excited for, if I had to generalize. You know, because, like, Skyrim, Doom, Fallout, those are all, like, PC staples, sort of. So, like,
Yeah.
I mean, good for those guys. So Doom...
They'll show off the Fallout game they announced. I hope they announce Doom 2 or whatever they'll call it.
That'd be beautiful.
Yeah, I would too. That would, because I wouldn't be surprised if it's not there and they wanted to give it another year to cook.
But I want
makes
it
any
now.
sense. Well,
Have they
same here,
announced
but
they're working on another Doom?
No.
it's kind of expected after the success of Doom.
Yeah, dude, the first Doom did fantastically. So.
Okay.
Especially after Wolfenstein 1 and 2 also did really well. So.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
So
What if they make a new Commander Keen and just follow the id
They
library?
can't make a new Commander Keen. He was dead in Doom 1.
That's true. That's true.
Do you guys ever hear about the lore where Commander Keen is like Doom Guy's grandpa or something like that?
Huh.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's funny.
Yeah.
I mean, does anyone have any particular expectations for Bethesda beyond Doom 2?
No.
I know I'm going to be hearing a lot of Elder Scroll memes, regardless of
Well,
what the 6
well,
games
because
are.
that's all Todd Howard is good for.
If they do announce Elder Scrolls 6, that's going to be easily one of the biggest announcements of the show, for sure. Like,
Yeah,
'cause Skyrim is almost 8 years old at this point. Like, that
Yeah.
game came out
Wow.
in, what, 2011?
That came out when
Yeah.
I was in college.
Yeah.
Hold on.
It has
let
been
me-
some. I think
Yeah.
you're right. I think it has been a significant amount of time. That's why we make the jokes. You know.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, 2011, so it's 7 years old
7
this
years.
year.
oof.
Ugh.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So yeah, Elder Scrolls 6 is kind of their, obviously not quite the same tier, but it's their Final Fantasy 7 remake button
Oh
yeah,
no.
they want to
at
make...
this point.
Yeah, like, I don't expect that to come out this year, but if they wanted to make a splash, they'd announce it.
Do you think they'll
You know.
remake Skyrim?
Dude. That'd be sick, dude.
Never played it
It's
before.
about time they get
No
to
way
remake.
Man.
Well, I mean, I could see them remaking 4 because I know a lot of people like that one. And it's kind of different from 5 in a lot of ways, so I could see that happen.
Well, there's rumors of Fallout getting a remake.
Yeah,
The first one?
No, Fallout 3.
3.
Like
which
a
is like-
remake or a port?
Like a reimagining, like an HD-ified remastered.
Well, they
Because
just take
that's a
whole
lot of
bu-
people's favorites.
Well, they take a whole bunch of the mods that everybody installs and then just make them official.
That'd be nice. Well, they did add mod support to one of the games.
Oh, that's
I
cool.
think it was 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also kind of a pain because Bethesda's like always the latest at night.
Yeah,
they
but they're-
moved it up, but they're
early
still
enough-
technically the latest.
Yeah, at least they're early enough that I don't have an excuse not to watch it this year, because in previous years it was like 1 in the morning, and I'm like, no, I don't want to.
Oh, I guess I gotta watch it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so anything else on Bethesda?
No.
No, as
Okay.
far as I'm
Okay, so
aware,
now we're moving on to the very busy Monday. First off is Square Enix.
Square Enix at 1.
It's
Yeah,
interesting
1
because I
Eastern.
don't think they've ever done a press conference before.
No, they have.
They have?
They've done
not
a
since
few.
2015.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're not every year, but they do them.
Oh, okay.
So
I'm assuming Kingdom Hearts 3 will get a date.
yes.
That's
Yes.
incredible
That's
to
the.
think about.
I think that's the big thing. Is Kingdom Hearts
Yeah.
getting a date.
yes. So do you
Yoko
think?
Taro
Okay.
will show up and we'll all love him.
Okay. So here's the Kingdom Hearts question: 2018 or 2019?
I mean, I'm thinking 2018 because they had people actually playing it a couple
I wanna
a
say-
couple weeks ago.
Yeah, the fact that the game is fully localized at this point is a really good sign.
Yeah.
Like it is pretty much all set and translated. All I gotta do now is just do a few more, I think a couple more months of bug testing, polish. It's looking good, but will I be surprised if it was delayed in 2019? No.
Okay, I'm gonna sound like an incredibly bitter and petty jackass here.
On the
But
internet?
Ukulele wasn't that good.
Hey John, when does Portrait of Ruin get better than the Sorrow games?
Let me see here. Have you started playing it yet?
Yeah, I did.
Okay,
Same
I'll tell you later.
level. Okay, but anyway, okay, I'm gonna sound like a bitter and petty jackass here, but there's a subset of Kingdom Hearts fans who say that Kingdom Hearts 3 has never been delayed. And yes, you're technically true. It's never been delayed because they've never announced a release date for it. So that's technically, you're not wrong, but you're not correct.
Well, they never really specifically had a date for Final Fantasy VII either, and yet that is now may come out in 2023. So, is that a delay?
So just to spite them, and I know that I'm being a petty dick here. Just to spite like the 5 people who keep on retweeting that at me, I would like it to be delayed to 2019 just so I could be like, ha! But my bitterness aside, I think 2018 is possible.
Which is
And
crazy.
Honest, that game's coming out. That game was a big E3 announcement in like 2012. Like, oh my
No,
god.
he's older
Yeah.
than that, Ted.
It's
older
like-
than that.
The game's never been technically delayed, I suppose, but it's also been 12 years since Kingdom Hearts 2. I mean,
Yeah.
we
My
I mean, yeah,
God.
so we got the other games between those, but they're not 3. People were looking for that 3. I guess 358 Days had a 3 in it, but that's not the 3 we're
Please,
looking
no.
for.
God, no.
But
And you know the story is never going to wrap up in a satisfying way.
they say it's the end of the Xehanort saga. I don't know what they mean by
Oh.
that.
Hey, John, how excited are you to discuss with people who are, oh man, I haven't played the game since 2. What did I miss?
Everything.
Here, go play Final Fantasy.
How dare people expect to play the next numbered sequel and to understand what's going on? How dare they? You know, jeez. Those
I'm
casuals.
sure the game itself will be fine. The plot is going to be an utter mess, and we
Yes.
all know it at this point.
And I'm excited
That's
as
just
hell,
Kingdom
dude.
Hearts.
Yeah.
That's Kingdom Hearts, though.
Yeah.
If it's as good as 2, I'll be satisfied because I love 2 to death so much.
Yeah, 2 is still fantastic, so if they just
Yeah.
follow that.
Yeah.
The story will be whatever, but the story was almost
the story will
whatever
be
in 2
whatever.
also, so.
Yeah, something about waggly fingers and some other shit.
And
But
chess. I don't know.
Whatever. And hey, is Aqua still alive?
Yes
But,
and no.
Probably living
Both.
inside of Kyrie or something.
Ooh.
He's living in Kyrie's darkness.
I thought you were
Yo.
going to say Kyrie's dog. Like, man, this series is fucked up.
Well, hey, you went to go see Mr. Darkness himself at MomoCon, so.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. Deep voice. Anyway. Yeah.
Also, I have one request for this game. Since there's a Monsters Inc. world, you better have Mike on the cover and have the ESRB logo in front of his face. I'm on the cover of a game!
I would love
we
that.
We were talking about this at MomoCon, but Emperor's New Groove World, instant buy. I've played like 2 hours of Kingdom Hearts total, and I would buy 3 for an Emperor's New Groove level. So make it happen,
Ooh.
Disney.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the always, what do you want to see in a Kingdom Hearts? What Disney franchise do you want to show up? So that's kind of like everyone has
I
their
just
own
want a
personal wish
llama-shaped Keyblade.
Keyblade.
You know? Yeah, a llama Keyblade. That'd be great.
Bonus point to Vista Cactus one.
Yeah.
Anyway, Kingdom Hearts I think is the big one, but
obviously they won't show any. Hot take: they will not show any Final Fantasy VII.
No, they won't because they got nothing.
No, God, no. I don't.
You,
if that actually ever
think,
releases, I'll be amazed.
Do you think that they really won't show anything?
Because
no,
because it hasn't been that long since they decided to scrap everything because Square is bad at project management.
I hate Square. I hate this stupid company.
Yep.
Okay, so in that case, what else do you expect to see?
I imagine they'll show some more Octopath.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm okay with that, but I hope not too much because that game's only like a month away. So
yeah, I don't think we need to see too much of that.
Not too much, but I'm sure they'll show it because it's their big Switch.
Maybe in a sizzle reel, sure.
Yeah. Okay, so the two big things that I'm excited for from Square, and if you know me, you already know what they are.
Dragon Quest XI.
Dragon Quest 11 and Dragon Quest Builders 2.
Ooh, Builders 2, that's right. Hell yeah.
Yeah. So the Dragon Quest Twitter today just tweeted something about E3, so I'm expecting to see Dragon Quest there in some form. I would love to see more Dragon Quest 11, if only so that the game gets out in the open and people care about it because it looks so good. But an official...
I'm not sure they'll show it too much. They'll probably show it and talk about like the English version, but I don't think they'll spend too much time on it considering it's already out in Japan.
It's been out in Japan for a year, so I'm not.
Yeah.
I want people to care. That's just me.
Yeah.
An official English confirmation of Builders 2 coming to the West would be, I think, what would be really, really cool. Because
I think they'll do that because I think Builders did pretty well over here.
Yeah, especially with the Switch port. So that came out. So a release date for that would be phenomenal. I would love that, but we'll see. But yeah, that's the number one thing I want from Square this year is those two games.
I think that like I want one thing that's completely out of nowhere, but there have been rumors online, which that means absolutely nothing. But if they were to make a new Parasite Eve, which I have been asking for years, I don't know if any of you guys have played Parasite Eve.
I have.
It is fantastic.
I'm only familiar with the first game, and then I know they had was it Third Birthday? I think was his last one on the PSP.
Which we don't talk about it.
We don't talk about it. Okay.
It has a health system where you lose more clothes, and that indicates that you have less health. So we don't talk about Third Birthday.
Sounds like Illbleed.
So it's 2B. Yeah, I've heard rumblings about that too. We'll see if it happens.
That'd be nice.
Do you think it would be a new game or like a remake? Because remaking stuff is the hot thing to do right now.
I'd be fine with either, as long as Parasite Eve has a spotlight on it again. I've grown numb to games getting remastered versus a new game in the series.
I don't like remasters at this point. I would prefer full remakes, especially for older stuff.
If old PS1 games can get the Crash Bandicoot and Spyro treatment, I'm not going to be upset. And I'm assuming like Medieval, which we'll get to, will look good as well. If they can do that to Parasite Eve, I would be totally okay with it. Personally,
same here. Mostly because that game is really obscure. So like 90% of the people who pick that up probably haven't played it.
Exactly.
I imagine Yoko Taro will show up and we will all love him.
Oh.
Yeah, but would they be working on a new Nier or Drakengard? Because Automata is only like a year old now, right?
Well, I mean, he's working on. It's not like he's sitting around doing nothing for an entire year.
That's
I don't know
true,
I don't know whether they'll show it, but I'm sure he'll be there. Is the thing.
That's true. I don't know if whatever he's working on would be ready to show by this year, Like, it might be very, very early.
Yeah. But no, I imagine he'll be there and we'll all love him.
Well, I know we're talking about the Japanese stuff, but Square technically also owns stuff like Tomb Raider and Hitman.
Oh, yeah, they'll show off the new Tomb Raider game. I forgot about that.
Is there another one announced?
Yeah, it's been announced. It's coming out later this year.
Oh, wow.
Shadows of Tomb Raider?
Something like that.
Oh,
yeah. I'm not big on Tomb Raider, so that's not a focus of mine. But I'm sure they'll show it and give it a date and all that.
It's weird because the Tomb Raider reboot are games that are really critically acclaimed, but I don't feel like anybody really cares too much about the new Tomb Raiders.
Well, because for better and for worse, Uncharted kind of overthrew Tomb Raider and that kind of style.
Yeah, apparently they're really good, but not as good Uncharted's.
Okay, all right, that makes sense. It's just funny how that happens, though, because Uncharted was just male Tomb Raider.
It was Dude Raider.
Yeah, so now, when you rip off what someone ripped off you, what happens? How is whatever?
You become Fortnite.
Oh!
Ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
Hot take.
Do you think now that 15's been out a while, they finally say we're making Final Fantasy 16?
Expect at least 4 more downloadable content packs to be released for Final Fantasy 15.
Oh my god. I can't wait until that game comes out.
What about 14, Final Fantasy 14? Because that game's still going strong. Like that's
that's an MMO though.
They already
they could announce a new expansion.
Here's the thing. As someone who lives and breathes that game, every couple of months they have what they call a letter from the producer live, where it's basically here's the upcoming news and what you can expect from the new patch in a couple of months. Those already do a significant job keeping us updated on 14. We're not going to hear anything from 14 until the next major expansion comes out, which is probably next summer, but I don't think we're going to hear anything this year about it.
If they do, it'll be a very brief thing. Like we'll have a special mini event in the game.
They'll tease because later this year they're gonna have they have this yearly thing where the Final Fantasy 14 Fan Fest, which is like a giant 2-day festival celebrating the game and all that. They usually do their major announcements there. So I wouldn't expect anything from this year's E3 about 14.
Not to mention E3 is really not the place for MMOs in a sense.
No. If it's a new MMO, they'll announce it.
If it's a new MMO, sure, but ongoing MMOs, companies don't generally to spend time on that.
That makes sense. The only thing I could think of is if it were an expansion, but if John doesn't think it's time for that yet, then I'll take his word for it. Because I played an hour of... No, I played more like 10 of 14, and I was like, yep, that's a video game, and I turned it off.
Mm-hmm. If you want to get back into it, I can use some free shit.
Oh, boy.
No, John, no. First off, I'm not supporting your addiction. Second off, I'm not letting you use me for 200 Final Fantasy 14 gold, all right? So...
How many hours have you put into that game, John?
4,000.
With a little editing magic. Let's see here. 2,811 hours.
Woo!
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Okay.
I like Hyrule Warriors.
That's not even... I played less than half of the amount of Hyrule Warriors than you have Final Fantasy 14. Dude. Okay. So
Any other particular Square Enix stuff? I mean, I can't really think of anything I would really want that's not, bizarrely wishful thinking, considering 7 Remake is still, 8 years away.
They have so many classic RPG
years,
franchises.
They haven't finished 15.
Yeah, they're never going to finish 15. I'm done with Final Fantasy. Unless they, remake Mystic Quest. That'd be funny as hell. But they have so many vintage RPG licenses they want them to use. Even if there's a Chrono Trigger remake that's similar to Secret of Mana, people will be so pissed. But I just want to see something.
No, do you know what I'd want? A Chrono Trigger remake, but done in the Octopath style.
That'd be...
Actually, you know what? Ooh.
People,
take it back.
I'd also take Final Fantasy 4 or 6 in the Octopath.
Style.
You know what? They'll make it in the
Lost.
Lost. They'll make it in the Lost Sphere engine instead, and it'll look bad.
Is that game not good? I thought people liked I Am Setsuna.
You know how I just said Tomb Raider was just a not as good Uncharted? Lost Sphere is just a not as good.
In Lost Sphere, Chrono Trigger, yeah.
Chrono Trigger. Okay.
They're fine. They work. I've played I Am Setsuna to completion. It's fine. You're better off just playing Chrono Trigger. It's a better game.
Okay. All right. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna be the ported to Switch guy for a moment. I'd take the old Final Fantasy, their old 16-bit library or whatever, ported to that in a collection similar to the Street Fighter and Mega Man stuff that Capcom did, because if Nintendo's not gonna have a virtual console, I'd like portable versions of those games that don't use the GBA sound card. Thanks.
Or the best versions of it, have the DS version of Chrono Trigger, obviously, the stuff in the DS version of Chrono Trigger and on the Switch or something.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, the PSP version of Final Fantasy IV I would also appreciate, and everybody's favorite version, the Steam version of Final Fantasy VI.
You fucking taunt me. Stop that.
So we have a fairly fairly sure idea of what they'll show, and I'm sure they'll have like 1 or 2 surprises that'll kind of catch us off guard, because Square doesn't do this every year, and if they do, they usually have a reason to.
I think that reason is Kingdom Hearts. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's the main one, but you could, if it was just one game, you could have done that elsewhere.
That's true. But I mean, I think, you know, you should always expect at least one quote-unquote surprise reveal at every announcement. It's just whether or not that surprise reveal is actually good is the question mark.
Yeah, that's why I bring it up for Square, because if it was just Kingdom Hearts 3, you could have done that at like D23 or something else.
Right.
Yeah. So,
moving on, I suppose, to mid-afternoon on Monday is Ubisoft.
Yes, Cringe Fest 2018, boys! Who's excited for Just Dance? Which musical artist do you think they'll have to promote Just Dance this year?
Who will awkwardly do things on
And
screen.
which animal costumes do you expect to see dancing along with the music?
Amoebas!
Here's the thing. Last year's Ubisoft conference was so boring. It was abysmal.
Listen, dude, Just Dance. And then Aisha Tyler's gonna say the word dick like 20 times. Are you not excited?
Aisha Tyler wasn't there last year,
Was she?
though. I was
Yeah,
so
it all
sad.
blends together.
No.
Where's Mr. Caffeine?
Oh,
Mr.
God.
Caffeine's dead,
Yeah,
Ryan.
he's dead too. Leave
Too
him
much
on the ground.
caffeine. He died.
Stop digging up his grave. It's illegal.
Dance, puppet, dance.
But
Ubisoft's
man.
always a shit show. I just want it to be the good shit show again.
Yeah, that's what I want. It's like I don't really care for what they publish nowadays, but at least make the presentation memorable. I don't even remember last year.
I'm pulling up last year.
We're gonna see more Beyond Good and Evil 2 with lots of chimp people saying fuck a lot.
I mean,
I hope they change the direction for that game's story because, oh my god, people.
It's not even a continuation of the story. They said it's a prequel.
yeah.
Okay, but here's the thing. After we did our Beyond Good and Evil commentary, I understood why people loved that game. It didn't really appeal to me, but I understood why people loved it and why they would want a sequel. And although the CG trailer they showed last year was graphically interesting, the dialogue was not just bad, it was abysmal. So
It was definitely weird.
Yeah.
I fully expect the game to be good though, because that's being headed by Michel Ancel, and he makes like almost nothing but gold. So I fully expect it to be good.
I mean, I hope. I hope that they get their act together, because that trailer really left a sour taste in my mouth, and I felt bad because I know Beyond Good and Evil 2 was like one of those like holy grails of video games, you know, that people really wanted, along with like Duke Nukem Forever for the longest time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm just more confused than anything else.
yeah.
We'll see how it turns out. I mean, as someone who was watching the commentary and all that, I've dabbled in it a little bit. I rented it once, I think. It's a fine enough game, but a lot of people wanted the sequel to continue what the story was doing. You know, obviously fix up gameplay problems and all that, but it's like, you wait all this time and you announce 2, but it's a prequel. It's like, then what was the point?
Because people wanted to. The first game ends on a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Yeah,
People
it
wanted
does.
to know what happened. You know, they don't care necessarily about stuff that happened before. You know.
Not right now, anyway.
Yeah, if it was like Beyond Good and Evil 5, then sure, but not Beyond Good and Evil 2. But I expect to see real gameplay of that at the very least, and hopefully it's fun on that level, even if the story doesn't end up living up to the original. Just Dance, obviously.
Yearly release.
Assassin's Creed, if we're talking about yearly releases.
Yeah, they probably... Games as service.
I'm going through their list now. They forgot about this. They have a pirate game called Skull and Bones.
Oh, I remember that! Oh, yeah, I remember that. It looked like Sea of Thieves, but less.
which is saying a lot, because Sea of Thieves doesn't have a lot of content in it to begin with. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
Ooh.
Pirates.
Yeah. I mean, I would like a Rayman, but if Michael Ancel is working on Beyond Good and Evil, I don't expect that.
Yeah.
Personally.
Not for a while, anyway. We will probably, however, see the DK expansion for Mario and Rabbids.
Yeah, which I'm surprised isn't out yet, so I'm guessing they're saving it for E3 for some reason. They did say apparently it's gonna be long, so.
They did.
Well, I would
show
hope
off
so if
some-
they're releasing it a year later.
Yeah.
They did show off some footage of it a couple of weeks ago,
Yeah.
and it did look expansive.
Yeah.
Like it did look like it was going to be at least a good amount of content and not something.
Are you saying
half-assed, which I
saying that
appreciate.
DK is expanding the game?
No.
Don't
Okay.
enable him. Don't
Okay.
enable him.
DK know what to do. I still have not played that game. I hate the rabbits with a flaming passion, but I know.
Oh,
people
It's
who
fine.
like-
it'll change in mind.
I know people who do like that game a lot, and more power to them. I'm just not interested.
Fair.
It's a
I'm
perfectly
on the same
serviceable
boat.
strategy game. I just think it's a little shallow, personally.
Well, to me, I just don't see the appeal because one, I don't like rabbits, and two, the genre of gameplay is just not for me.
Well, so that's the thing is I hate the rabbits too, but they make the humor more. I'm not gonna make this a review of Mario and Rabbids, but they subtle the humor a lot, so it's more subdued and it's handled really well. I like it. It's a good game. I don't.
Fair
Yeah,
enough. I still prefer the awkward zombie comic where, okay, Mario, choose your party members, Luigi, Peach, Yoshi, but don't you want to play with these fun guys? No.
True.
You see, that's the unfortunate thing about Mario. Again, we don't want to spend too much time on it, but the unfortunate thing is forcing you to have Mario and one rabbit in your party was part of what made the strategy, I think, less satisfying. And unfortunately, from what I can tell, in the DK expansion, you need to have DK in your party at all times.
It's
so,
3 preset characters.
Yeah, I hope they announce more. I hope that you do get more characters like Diddy Kong or a Rabbid. I don't know. If they have Rabbid Lanky Kong, then
Well, there's
then
Rabbid
I
Cranky
will-
Kong,
Well, they do have Rabbid Cranky Kong. He's been confirmed.
which I
but-
want an amiibo of.
But yes, Rabbid Lanky Kong will make that like an insta play for me. But otherwise, it's there. I'm sure it'll be good, but I'm not a huge fan of that game, so I'm not too excited for that.
Fair.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Do you think they announced an expansion or something for like Far Cry 5 that just came out?
Did
Probably.
4 get an expansion? I know 3 did.
I mean, everything gets DLC nowadays, so I don't know. But
I mean, if they want to, sure. I mean, I don't. I don't really play Far Cry 5.
So our reaction to that is going, "Oh, cool, man."
neat. It'll be another big Ubisoft sandbox where there's lots of things to collect that don't do anything and towers to get.
No. Oh, Watch Dogs 3, I guess. There you go.
I hear 2 was a pretty significant boost from 1.
Cool.
I didn't like 1, so I skipped 2. So whatever.
Watch Dogs is still to this day one of the most disappointing games. You know, the original, I should say. Like, that was going to be so cool, and no.
False promises.
Yeah. Yeah, I just, again, out of anything, I just hope that the conference is fun this year, because last year's conference was not fun.
No.
So, bring back Aisha, have a bunch of stupid people in costumes, you know. You're Ubisoft. Throw a big, terrible party, and we'll all love
Just Dance, boys!
No, stop it.
Yes. You see the
I can't
video
wait
of
for Just-
Rabid Peach dancing to the Beyonce song?
I can't wait for Just Dance 2019 to be released on the Wii. Like the actual Wii.
Oh yeah, last year's was released on the Wii. Yeah.
The Wii and not the Wii U. I should also mention. So,
Oh, my
Oh,
God.
that'd be amazing.
yes. So, with that said, do we want to jump over to Sony now?
But there's the PC gaming show.
Just to know, we are going to skip Devolver Digital because their quote-unquote conference is a giant joke to begin with. So
What did they
They
show
did
off
something.
last year?
No, last year I think was a total what the fuck.
Yeah,
that's
it was
why I'm
it was
saying
funny.
They're a joke, so there's nothing to talk about.
It was
You watch
it was a funny thing to watch because we didn't know what to expect. But
That it just like
Okay.
kind of went through. I mean, I don't even remember if they have anything coming out.
Yeah, so that's why we're skipping them.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe next.
So, yeah, so we are at the 50-minute mark, and we are going to the big guns now.
the PC
Yeah,
gaming show, boys. Okay,
Yay.
Not quite.
Half-Life 3. Okay.
Oh, that's not even a funny joke anymore. That's not being a funny joke 10 years ago.
That's sad.
Poor Half-Life fans. They're the new Duke Nukem fans. So anyway, Sony,
they announced their conference really badly.
Yeah.
they're changing the way they're doing it, right?
No, they're not.
Oh, okay.
They were absurdly confusing on that podcast. So here's what's going on. They're having their own little treehouse sort of thing throughout the week, which is fine.
Oh.
Yeah.
Which they've done for a while, just no one really paid attention. But on their podcast, they were very vague and confusing. Here's what's happening. They are showing 4 games from themselves. They're having the whole conference thing, but they're going to be doing 4 main games and third parties.
So they're going to show off 4 main games at their conference.
Yes.
Yes.
And then fill the time with like other third parties.
So apparently
whether that
Sony
be
themselves are not announcing anything.
games.
So
Yeah.
I guess to just set
Oh.
expectations there right out of the gate.
Which
okay.
is fine because the 4 games they're showing, I forget one of them, but they're going to be showing Last of Us Part 2, which I know is not everyone's favorite thing, but I'm excited for it. But
Yeah.
that'll
Well,
be fine.
We'll talk more about that in a moment.
But yeah, just the list is Last of Us Part 2, Death Stranding, so we could have Norman Reedus with his Norman fetus again.
Norman Reedus and the funky fetus.
Fetus.
Oh,
Wait.
God.
I have the list.
Yeah, they're going to show Spidey, unsurprisingly.
Yeah, Spider-Man.
Okay.
And I forget
Alright.
what the 4th game is.
Days Gone.
I can't even
Oh
remember.
my
what
God.
And also
Oh,
Ghost of
that
and
was-
also Ghost of Tsushima.
Days Gone is the zombie thing, right?
Yes.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Oh,
That
the
was
one
announced,
one
like-
nobody cares about, and they've shown twice.
Yes.
That game was announced like 2 years ago, right? And
I think
Yeah,
so.
Yeah,
they
and
showed it
nobody
2 years
gives a
ago.
shit. Nobody cares.
Yeah, I
It's
do
the-
not care about that
They,
game.
That's
their
the
their
most
hype for that
generic-
game is look how many zombies are at the screen at once. That's how they're hyping it
Nobody,
up.
yeah, nobody cares.
You could label that game video game, and people would be more interested.
They showed off like
You
the
know.
first hour of gameplay like a couple weeks ago, and it looked really boring. Personally,
It's another bland zombie shooter that doesn't matter.
yeah.
That's gonna.
Here's the thing, though. It's like, oh, we can have all these zombies on screen. You're not going to be shooting all of them.
No.
It's not like this
it
is
might
a
as well just-
zombie Dynasty Warriors.
Yeah, I mean,
no
like,
one's done that yet. I didn't realize a zombie Dynasty Warriors
Yeah,
game. That'd be
But
sick.
I mean, here's the thing: the amount of zombies on screen don't matter because you're not fighting them. Like, if it was a big open world and you could render all these zombies, so you had to be super careful, that'd be one thing.
Well, isn't that just Dead Rising though?
Effectively, yes. I'm just saying that. I'm just saying that the amount of zombies don't matter because it's scripted anyway.
Yeah.
So whatever.
So I guess
So-
that's all we have to say about. Okay, but I just want to backtrack a little bit. They're not showing off any new games at all.
Well,
No,
because like
God of War came out.
yeah, 'cause-
Well, I
but-
guess Last of Us 2 is effectively new because we knew nothing about that game other than
and we
the
still
fact
haven't
that it
seen
existed.
gameplay of it. See, like all the
Yeah.
games they're showing are from their major parties. So Santa Monica already released God of War. Last of Us is Naughty Dog. Spider-Man is Insomniac. Ghost of Tsushima is Sucker Punch. Days Gone is, I forget the name, but the guys who did
Kojima.
no, that's Death Stranding.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I forget the name who did
Kojima's
Days
Death Stranding.
Gone, the company.
Yeah,
but
I forget. But
that's
they're-
all.
they're-
All
they-
their companies are laid out. They have nothing else
mean-
to announce.
I guess that's true, but at the same time, it's bizarre because it's not. There's no. I don't think that there's anything like coming from them that's super. Aside from Last of Us 2, I can't see that any of that stuff being
I mean,
super.
Spidey's getting a lot of hype, so.
Spider-Man's gonna be
I
sweet.
guess so, but it's not. It's hype in that people are ready for that game to come out. Not.
Yeah.
There's. I guess what I'm saying is that there's nothing that I think people will be able to get excited for Sony stuff in say 2019, for example.
Well, I mean.
well, aside from Last of Us, because that's
Yeah,
probably
Last of Us. Look,
2019.
I mean, here's the thing. Sony does very well in Japan, so I imagine we'll see like the new From Software game, whether that's a Dark Souls.
Yeah, the
or
third-party
whatever.
front is still going to be where
Fine.
a lot of the hype is. Yeah.
Okay, that's true.
You know what? They may
we're-
even
we're-
announce like
we're
a
just
new
talking
Crash
purely-
Bandicoot thing because that's a third party now. That's not Sony owned,
Yeah.
so there's still
We could
potential.
also probably see some Spyro as well.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
There's potential from Sony themselves though. That's about it because they have no other
Yeah.
companies to work on unless they show off some random indie game.
Yeah, which is fine. I'd rather they come out and say, look, everyone has plans. Here's the plan. We're not going to have any super shocking announcements.
That would be better because I remember last year people were disappointed because they just copy and pasted their 2016
Yes.
conference.
Yeah, so
if they're being
going this
upfront
route
about
doesn't-
it, then that's at least an improvement because games
Yeah.
do take a long time to make. So You might end up having to show the same game 3 years in a row.
Yeah, so that doesn't bother me. I'm just glad they're upfront about it. So I guess we'll talk about the. I mean, we already did the zombie game, so I guess we'll talk about the game Sony is showing. Start with Kojima or end with Kojima?
Let's get him out of the way, because what is Death Stranding?
I don't know, and it's going to be great.
That's like the $1 million question, dude.
I don't even think he knows, dude.
It needs to be a real game. Is like not necessarily like, I know that the words real game are kind of loaded, but just being weird. I know that we're happy that Kojima's not strapped to Konami's, back anymore, and we're all grateful for that, but at the same time, just being Kojima and just being bizarre isn't enough for me to get excited about Death Stranding, and I know that I'm a party pooper for that, so
No, I agree, because I'm at a point where I'm gonna get the game, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna enjoy it or not, because it's banking so hard on the surrealism of it all. It's like, oh, it's Kojima being Kojima. It's like, yeah, that's fine, but at the same time, I also like to know a little more. I don't want to just throw $60 into it.
Yeah.
We have not. That game's was announced like 2 years ago, and we have not seen any live gameplay footage of it yet.
Nope.
And that worries me a little bit.
Well, that's also Kojima is the thing. Yeah, you have to understand that's just kind of how he works.
I mean, I know that this is the man who hid the fact that Raiden even existed, so that's fair.
So if it were anyone else, I would agree with you. With Kojima, it's just kind of the norm.
I guess. I think the problem is that when this is a completely new IP as opposed to something established like Metal Gear or Zone of the Enders, you need to establish why people would want to play this specific game. Whereas, okay, with Metal Gear 2, it's going to be Metal Gear gameplay, so you know what you're getting into, and figuring out the new stuff is part of the fun. But when it's something completely brand new, you're not going to know if you like it or not unless if they show you why you would like it.
Well, no, initially there was hype because, like, Norman Reedus is in it and Guillermo del Toro is in it, and that came after PT was dropped, or Silent Hills was dropped, so there was some surprising value there, but that was now 3 years ago?
Yeah.
Wow,
2.5.
Yeah, 2.5.
Jesus, okay. Man. So, yeah.
I mean, the current rumor about PT is that Kojima did that entirely behind Konami's back.
Like, he made
he made the PT demo without Konami's knowledge.
Oh.
And he posted it, and he basically got it on PSN to try and force Konami's hand to actually make the game.
Well.
Which supposedly was the final straw between him and Konami.
I mean, it's a shame because people really liked that demo, so I don't know
that was the intent, but
I don't know why Konami wouldn't want to continue with a project people are excited about, but whatever, they're not known for making smart decisions. So
that's why I appreciate what Death Stranding is doing. I personally am not interested because, again, we haven't seen gameplay, but I'm all in for Kojima doing what he wants, being unshackled from the evil corporation that is Konami. It's a cool coming-of-age story, basically.
Is the fetus coming of age, or is Norman Reedus coming of age?
Yes.
Ooh.
Good to know.
That's the theme of the story, actually.
Yeah.
The fetus grows up to be Kojima. I was like, oh my god.
Oh my god, that'd be so good, actually.
Hello, Snake.
It's a Phoenix story. Rise from the ashes, Kojima. You fucking freak.
Let's hope for real information.
Yeah.
In regards
I mean, it will come with a very bizarre trailer, as Kojima is known to do.
I don't care if it's bizarre as long as I know what I'm in for.
Yeah. I totally agree, but go in expecting a bizarre trailer with it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, we already talked about... What's that other game you were talking about? The fourth game.
Ghost of Tsushima?
I don't even... That one, yeah.
So that is done by Sucker Punch. We don't know much about it except it takes place in Tsushima, and you play as a samurai, I believe.
Does it have a rocket robot on wheels?
That'd be nice, dude. Or at least a tombstone that shows him off. It's weird because it seems I think the samurai has like superpowers or something. It would be weird if you don't have superpowers. But it seems like the most grounded in reality game they've made so far, which is weird because that's not what Sucker Punch does.
I would be okay with that because there is a shockingly low amount of samurai games. and
Sure, yeah.
Samurai, they're cool. So John Onimusha is nobody cares. I'm sorry.
No, Ted, you can't set me up like that. I thought you were gonna agree with me. You're an asshole.
Well, no. Now that he said it,
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Ted.
Well, no, that's not how it works. If
But
I
you
had,
said it.
if
But
I,
you said it without malice or intent. You said that.
Yeah.
if I had,
willing.
no, here's the thing. If I said
No, you
they're
can't
not
make the
going-
rules up. That's how it works.
Ooh, man.
No,
Oh, thank you. I can't wait.
Is this the
if I had
downfall of
said they're
BrainScratch?
not going to be making an Onimusha game, then maybe. If I just said
you
were
effectively said that.
You were about to insinuate that I'm never going to get it.
It was heavily insinuated
Yeah.
based on what you said. Ted.
That's just good enough for me. That means we're going to get it. Thank you, Ted.
okay,
Man,
whatever.
I missed on it.
Okay.
Man,
Man.
I can't wait.
Come on, mommy and daddy, don't fight.
Oh no, we're not fighting. It's like I'm thanking Ted for giving me the Onimusha remasters that I always wanted for like the last decade.
It's gonna be based off of what's the one you don't like?
Gaiden, I think. It was.
Wait, no, I like
4
I don't
or
mind.
5?
No, they're all good. They're all good.
Oh, I thought there was one that people didn't like.
Maybe the spin-off, sure. I don't know. I never
Okay.
played it.
Oh well, some Onimusha fan you are, John.
I'm not
Jeez.
playing I'm not playing a tactical role-playing game. It's not who
Oh,
I am.
okay.
You want to play
John, why
Smash
won't you
Brothers?
review Fire Emblem? John, review Fire Emblem. John, you
I'd
review
rather
Fire
review
Emblem?
the Onimusha tactical role-playing first.
So,
So-
samurai are cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Nothing more on that, I take it, Anthony.
No.
Well, the big game is obviously because we already know a lot about Spider-Man. The big
Well,
game is
let's
obviously
talk about.
Last of,
Well, let's
Last of Us.
let's get through Spidey then real quick and then.
Spider-Man looks so damn good.
Please let the open world actually be good because they haven't shown any of that.
Insomniac is consistently a fantastic game developer, so I have nothing but the highest expectations for which may
Yes,
be a mistake.
Really. Yeah, but we've seen plenty of Spider-Man games utterly fail in that open world aspect. So
No, sure, but this is now Insomniac. This is an actual full-on
Yeah.
proper game dev and not someone who's just making licensed games.
Yeah, this is also a game that's getting a significant amount of budget and effort.
Yes.
Whereas I know that games like Shattered Dimensions have their fans, but they were very clearly not a major published game. Like, they were something that a small team put together, you know, on a minimal budget. Spider-Man Insomniac is a major release, being given the full pushing and backing of one of the biggest game companies right now,
Yes.
and by a star team. So I
Yeah.
expect it to be at the very I guess I agree with Ryan that the open world needs to be good, because that's the main, like, the story and the action and the set piece stuff could be good, but the main reason why people want to play as Spider-Man is to dick around in New York. So that needs to be the best part. So as annoying as they were in Spider-Man 2, I want to be able to deliver pizza and find balloons. Like, maybe not specifically pizza and balloons, but you know what I mean. You know,
My
like,
favorite topping.
The only real thing I kind of want is something gameplay-wise to kind of differentiate itself from the Arkham style stuff from last year.
Yeah, it did look very Arkham.
Which is ultimately fine. Arkham's a very good game to base something off of. I just hope that it's not, it's Arkham, but I can hang on the walls and ceiling or something.
Yeah, I'd say, I'm speaking as someone who doesn't play a whole lot of Spider games. If it's just Arkham Spider-Man, I don't give a shit. That's good enough for me.
Yeah, it's not the worst thing they could do. I just hope that they do a little bit something different to differentiate itself rather than make it Spider-Man, Arkham,
Spider-Man,
New York.
Spider-Man, not Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want it to feel like a Spider-Man game and not. I think the minor things they could do is just make the gameplay faster and less, because Spider-Man's more about like speed than he is about like feeling like heavy and
And it
powerful
seems like they're
Batman.
doing that because it seems like there may be quite a few chase missions where you're just swinging through the city,
Yeah.
going through construction
that's
sites and stuff.
That's my other concern. Remove the quick time crap, please.
Yeah.
We got rid of those for a reason.
Are they back in God of War
No,
2017?
no, they're not.
Oh, thank Christ.
Yeah, no.
You know, they're good. When the game that popularized QuickTime events got rid of them, you know they're not worth it anymore. So yeah, that would be good. Have good villains, please. I guess is another thing. Like, we don't need.
You want the Rhino? Sure.
I was just gonna say, right? There's no Venom, which is well, not
I'm
yet.
okay with that.
Yet.
Well, no Venom no Venom that we know of.
I've never really gotten why Venom is as popular as he is, because he's got exactly
an evil
one
Spider-Man.
good story. He's got one good story, and it's his first one. So
He's Bane.
yes, exactly. You know.
And he's also being played by Bane in the live action movie.
It all comes together.
Come full circle.
But yeah, I think that game will at the very least be good, though. Like,
No,
I'm
I'm assuming it's going to be good as well.
Yeah, that's my most anticipated out of the whole Sony list, personally.
Yeah. But easily the biggest game that they've got is Last of Us this year, because that's their probably the big blowout of information that they're hoping for is Last of Us stuff. Obviously, we don't know much about the story, so I don't know what we could expect for that.
I'd rather they not talk about the story and let us discover it like they did the first game.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I mean, we're gonna hear about premise stuff. Do you guys
Well, yeah.
think... Okay, so do we know who you play as? Is it Ellie?
I think you play
or...
as Elle.
I think it's
Ellie, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or at least primarily Ellie. We don't know if we'll be playing as others at points.
Okay. So what gameplay-wise would you want to be changed in a 2?
I would like a bit more customization of what you can do with your weapons. Because I know it's not everyone's favorite thing, but comparatively to other zombie games, I think the one thing Last of Us did really well was give you options on how you want to proceed. Do you want to be a more shooter-based game? Do you want to be a more stealth-based game? Do you want to mix and match? It gave you a lot of freedom to proceed as you wanted. I would like more of that. Like, one idea they mentioned early on that you do like once in the game is pit, the not zombies against, people who are chasing you. Situations like that give you more freedom to do things like that. That's what I'd want.
Yeah, really cater to multiple play styles, I feel, is what I want as well, because there's one thing I didn't sort of like about Last of Us was I want to go for a more stealth approach, but there's still those forced sequences that I have to kill everything in this room, like in order to proceed. I was like, I can't. Well, that kind of goes against how I've been playing the game so far. It's like, I feel this could have been better designed to cater to both.
Yeah, thankfully I don't think that's too much of the game. That's more of an early thing against
humans. Well, I think every season has that problem.
That one section, yeah.
But most importantly, I'm just interested to see where they take the story from here, honestly, and because the gameplay I thought was just fine, honestly. Structurally, it could have been a little worked around it could have been roughed around, smooth out the edges, but I'm just excited that there's a second game at all.
See, the story, I've spoken to Ryan about this. The story is what so far has me turned off of the game, because I wasn't really a big fan of the first game already, which I know I'm in the minority. But the last story trailer they showed off was just like a woman getting bludgeoned for 5 minutes. That was not a good way to sell me on the game. Unless there's context behind it, that was just rough to watch.
They're very serious. This world is dark and harsh.
Humans are the real bastards.
Yeah, the message of every zombie.
I'm in a minority, so I can't even really talk.
I mean,
it's not your thing. That's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't played it, but I didn't really get it too much either. Because again, it's not really my thing. It's like, okay, I didn't really looking at it, and even after watching the whole game, I didn't really get what made it so much better than every other zombie game out there. But again, it's also not my genre either, so I'm not really one to whine, so yeah.
So any other third-party stuff you might want to see regarding Sony?
A new Crash racing game. That'd be sick.
I would love a Crash Team Racing remastered.
Dude, and then this year we get a Crash racing game and a Sonic racing game? That'd be sick. And a rumored Star Fox racing game? That'd be crazy.
Well, we'll get to that.
I'm just saying that it's just building up my hype for
that. Okay, so it's been a year since the Crash remasters.
Oh yeah, they'll have Medieval too.
Oh yeah, Medieval. Yeah.
Never played it, so I have no particular sway one way or the other on that.
I think it's honestly, I think the remaster is going to be just as niche as the original game was, but I'm happy medieval fans at least got that much.
Yeah. Again, the idea of taking old PS1 games and making them look super pretty and modernized, sure.
Yeah, I got no problem with that. Remake Blasto and Rascal, make it a good game this time.
You can't remake Blasto because Troy McClure's not around
Remake.
anymore.
What about New Croc?
New. You know, we
Croc
joke,
has
but
never been good. I'm sorry.
no, but
Even
that's
back
why
then.
that's why you remake it to make it good.
There
No.
you go. You got it. John
take
knows what I'm
that
talking
team,
about.
Take a talented team and have them put their effort towards a good game.
Like Glover.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right.
Like a New Croc. Oh man, Bug.
Do you know
Okay,
what-
the
do you know
only
what-
person
I
who
want
would buy
Bug
that's Lewis, though.
I want Bug 3. Bug 3 for the Saturn.
Okay, but anyway, do you think they make a new Crash? Is the thing, because they've got a perfectly good remastered trilogy just sitting there, and that engine's not doing
Yeah,
anything.
no,
now.
most assuredly they're going to make a new Crash game at some point.
Sure.
Maybe not this year. It
Not
kind of
this year,
depends
no.
on.
I do think a Crash racing game will come first, but I think a new Crash Bandicoot game, even if it is like for PS5, if they make it like a launch title, like a year or two down the line or whatever, when they announce it, it's gonna happen.
I'd
Yeah.
buy it. Day one.
Well, I would too.
Activision likes money. They're not gonna let this. They're not gonna let Crash go. We asked for Crash for so many years. We may regret that in the coming years. We gotta wait and see.
They will get a Crash
Crash
Bandicoot
Bash
HD
remake?
There you go.
Anybody?
We could get with online play.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Hey, that automatically make it more advanced than any Mario Party game.
It's true.
Look, watch, we'll get Crash Boom Bang remake instead.
Oh,
Bada bing.
Crash Bada Bing. The thing is, for third parties, Sony can just pull any company that ever existed in the entirety of this gaming industry from start to now, and they can be like, yeah, they're making a new game.
Yeah,
Whoops.
they do that a lot. I also expect a couple of the trailers from previous things to be there as well. Like, if we saw some Kingdom Hearts stuff that's exclusively for the Sony's thing, like, oh, this world's in Kingdom Hearts 3, I can expect that. Maybe like, here's something from Ubisoft that's super cool on PlayStation. We could see that pretty easily.
Well, now that happened
if
for
they're
both
gonna
of them,
port-
regardless. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
There'll be
as
like
well.
there'll be
Like, they
a
might show-
PSVR reel for like 10-15 minutes for VR games.
I can't wait for
Yeah,
them to pretend that I can't wait for them to pretend that the Vita doesn't exist for the 15th year in a row. You know, that's gonna be
Well, the
cool.
Vita's dead.
yeah, it's dead. They're not
Yeah,
making it
they
anymore.
officially
I
discontinued
know,
it.
but it. Do you think they? Okay, so do you think they ever make another handheld, or do they just give
No,
up?
I think that's dead in the water.
One of the
at
guys
this
at Sony said there's a potential future in portable specific gaming, but if Nintendo's not even having a piece of that pie anymore, then Sony's not going to go in it solo. Unless PlayStation 5 also has a portable component to it.
point. Yeah, if they do like their own kind of knockoff thing of the Switch, which we can get to when we talk about the PS5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm expecting people to start ripping off the Switch because people ripped off the Wiimote when that was new. and
Yeah,
became
no,
popular,
yeah, specific,
so,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's neat. The Sony conference doesn't really have many expectations going for it because they set everyone in check immediately, which is good. So no one can go in with this stupid high expectations anymore.
Yeah, which is probably smart on their end, especially with the was basically them talking about the PS5 earlier in the year. It's like, yeah, we're working on it. It's coming reasonably soon, all things considered, but we're not going to be doing anything with it right now.
Yeah. So I still think it'll be a hype show, just not announcement wise from Sony, which is fine.
Yeah.
It's still so bizarre to me that the PS5 and like the next wave of consoles is coming so soon, because
Well, here's
again,
the thing. It hasn't been so soon. It's going to turn 5 this year.
yeah, but I guess the thing is
It does
that
seem soon.
I don't think that we've reached the potential of the systems that we have right now. I feel like it's been happening a lot. The jump from what gen was the PS3 360? The jump from that gen to this gen was, in terms of graphical power, one of diminishing returns, where games looked nicer, but not so much nicer as the jump from PS2 to PS3, and even more so than the PS1 to PS2. for example. So I feel like they could have kept this generation going for another, like, 3 years beyond when they would have announced it, and the game still would have been able to push that hardware a lot before, okay, we need to jump a console in order to give people the fanciest looking stuff.
It's probably less pure graphical power and more processing and display power.
Like, I mean, to get things running smoother, I guess that's true, because people are all about them frame rates now. But
well, no, it cuts down load times, makes the games run smoother, loads faster, yada yada.
Think about the number of zombies they'll get to put on the screen at one time on PlayStation 5. Are you excited?
Can't wait.
It's just, people aren't raving about 4K the way they were about HD when that was
because it literally doesn't matter at this point.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing. And this isn't necessarily just a Sony exclusive problem. I think that whenever Xbox reveals what their next console is, they're going to be having the same problem. I think that we're going to see a pretty significant amount of time where stuff is on both the new gen and the current gen stuff. And we're going to see a lot of people struggle to come up with a reason to pay the $400 to $500 to buy a new box. Because it doesn't seem as much of a worth the jump as it did for going from 360 to One or PS3 to PS4. That's just kind of my worry, that if they're doing it too soon, then people won't buy it because they don't see the need to.
Well, my thought for the PS5 was kind of do their own thing while a Switch, but have like the PS5 be the main box that you're playing stuff on, but have it come with like its own Switch thing, because they had like the PlayStation TV Play or whatever it was for the Vita, or Remote Play for it, which was a neat idea, but obviously you had to own a PS4 and a Vita for that. Now, if you combine that idea with your own kind of side Switch thing, that could be interesting.
If it's two separate units, though, that would make it a lot more expensive.
Well, that's the thing. I said it won't be a separate thing. It'd be like the core part of the PS5. You have the system at home, but you have your little nifty little device so you can play it on the go.
I mean, I guess they could make that work again. I worry about price.
Yeah, no. Price is definitely a worry. I'm just saying that'd probably be a better idea to go than just make a better box.
Yeah, they'd have to do something in order to make it enticing for people to buy, I guess is the thing.
What'll be interesting with that, because if they do copy the Switch formula and their current plans is to get that console out in 3 years, if people will still care when 2021 comes around.
Yeah, that's true.
So
that depends a bit on Nintendo and whether or not they make a Switch 2 or 0.5 that's just better graphically.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did do that, just so that they could continue to keep up with third parties, because they can't port 3-year-old games forever.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We'll save that for Nintendo.
Well, is there anything else Sony specifically that we forgot to talk about or we want to spend more time on?
They're such an open book, man. They can really announce anything. Somewhere in the conference we could see Psychonauts 2 finally.
Yeah.
Psychonauts 2 or whatever from, as I mentioned, From Software.
From Software.
I guess
Shenmue 3.
I suppose.
Yeah. Any bunch of indie games, like more Bloodstained, they'll show up somewhere, but those are things you can't pin down to one specific.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that Microsoft last year had Dragon Ball FighterZ just shows that any conference could have anything.
Yeah, which is funny because Microsoft showed Fighters and then nobody bought it on on Xbox.
Nobody bought Fighters.
Sorry, nobody bought it on Xbox because all the Japanese players are going to be playing on PS4 anyway.
That's true.
Yeah.
So.
Brief third-party tangent. Team Sonic Racing.
Yay!
Yay!
I thought Transformed was a good game. So if it's just Transformed with Sonic characters, that's fine.
Well, okay, so here's my okay, I never played any of the Sonic and Sega All-Stars stuff. I know that they're good racers, but at the same time, the reason why I accepted, and I know that this is a stupid reason to be skeptical, but the reason why I accepted Sonic and Company in a car was because it was a crossover game, and so, okay, yeah, of course Sonic has to be in the car because everybody else is in the car. If it's just Sonic, why aren't they running? Oh
no, I agree. I'd be down for a Sonic R sequel, because in this day and age where things are a little more polished than the jank 3D of Saturn. I would love to see that, but if they're still in cars, I'm at least glad it's back with Sumo Digital, because they know how to make a good racing game.
exactly.
Like, I mean, I know that it's gonna be a good racing game for sure. It's just
Conceptually, it's always been weird, but also video game. Sonic is inherently weird anyway.
yeah.
So
if we're being real here, yeah.
Okay, so since I know that we're contractually obligated to talk about do we see any other Sonic stuff at E3 or just?
No, it's just gonna be the
I
racing
think it's
game.
just racing. Maybe a bit of a sizzle reel with Mania Plus, because I think they haven't shown off. Has Encore mode been elaborated
been
on?
officially,
leaked, but yeah.
Yeah, I think they might just spend some time on that for a bit, and that's it.
Okay, so we're probably not going to see any major
No,
Sonic
new
stuff
Sonic games not
until
till next year.
Nope.
Okay.
Mega Man 11.
Oh,
Probably
yeah.
another scissor reel thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit more on the Robot Masters.
They showed off Mega Man 11 a couple of days ago, like a decent amount of information. So I think we saw a lot of that actually. Like we saw them do stuff for the Sushi game, Octopath, the Splatoon 2 Octo expansion. I think Nintendo in particular and a couple of other third parties wanted to get their information about their they're not lesser in terms of quality, but in terms of hype, the stuff that's already been announced, they wanted to get that information out of the way so they don't clog up their E3 feed with what they consider to be the big news, you know?
Right.
So, like, I expect, like, maybe they'll have the demo that they had for Mega Man 11, for example, on the floor, and people will be able to play that, but I don't expect a lot of new information about Mega Man 11, like, otherwise.
No, just like maybe one more Robot Master or two, because they've already shown off all of them, what they look like.
Yeah, we just don't know what they do.
All in the box art, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't expect a lot of Mega Man 11 info as well. In terms of things I don't want to see, again, like, I'm hyped for Octopath Traveler and the Splatoon 2 DLC.
Well, now let's say that specifically for Nintendo. This is just third-party cleanup.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, Psychonauts 2, I really want to see, because, man, that first game was so good. I'm getting tired of just seeing little development videos on their YouTube channel. I want to see a trailer. I want a release date. I want to play it. Yeah, so.
No, I agree. I really enjoyed the first one. Pleasantly surprised by it. So I'm all down for a sequel.
Same here. With Shantae's physical version now, do you think WayForward tries to show anything new?
Have they ever shown anything
I
off
don't
at
think
E3?
they're ready. I think that they've been working on Shantae for a while. So unless if they're just straight up using the Half Genie Hero engine again and they can whip something together really fast, I don't think we see another Shantae announcement for a while.
Well, not specifically Shantae. Like if they made the same engine and made like a Mighty Switch game.
Well, that's
that'd be
actually
cool.
I was gonna say I want Mighty Switch Force 3 right now more than I want Shantae, because I love Shantae Half Genie Hero. Don't get me wrong, but that costume mode with the Mighty Switch Force mode, that was so good. It was amazing, and it made me really want Mighty Switch Force 3 really badly, where she's a mailman this time.
Just different occupations now for all the future sequels.
Yeah,
Well,
because
she was a firefighter in
policeman.
2.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
she was
true.
a
Oh, yeah,
police-
no, you're right.
Patty,
that'd be cool.
Patty
Yeah, okay.
Post Girl.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be happy to see WayForward take the reins on, another franchise, because they did good work with Double Dragon and Blood Rain and
DuckTales.
DuckTales. So seeing them work on, like, let's say another revival of a 16 or 8-bit game, I think would be cool.
If they do another Disney IP, if they make like a new Chip and Dale or Darkwing Duck.
That would be, or if they were going to do.
That's unfortunately kind of up to both Disney and Capcom.
Well,
no,
considering,
of course,
like, I know that they already did DuckTales, but if they did a DuckTales for the new show, I can imagine a lot of people would be excited for that. I don't expect this, but I would like to see some more King of Cards from Yacht Club. Or maybe, like, showing off that battle mode finally. So that, because I love Yacht Club and I love Shovel Knight. And I'm excited for King of Cards, but I really want to see what they're working on next after Shovel Knight's done. So, yeah, I know they're not going to show that. That's next year at the earliest, but yeah, that's what I'm hoping for from them. Other stuff. Okay, meme question. Do you think Konami shows anything of worth at all?
No.
Nope.
No.
I mean, well, all right. The easy answer is no. But if they want to, at some point or another, I mean, I know we can all be cynical here. At some point or another, they will have to start rebuilding whatever the fuck they have left. And that if they want to start revitalizing IPs in some form or fashion in a way that gamers will actually give a shit about them again, it's going to be a long fucking time before they ever mend that bridge if it's not completely incinerated at this point.
Well, Capcom was able to do it to some extent.
Capcom, though, wasn't as extreme, though, as what Konami
Yeah,
People
Konami's
really
the
were
worst.
mad at Capcom after how they handled... Like, I mean, I know that it's fun to shit on Keiji Inafune now, but
Yeah.
they did treat him like crap. So, and people were really upset about that back then. So,
The difference was Inafune wasn't like in charge of basically everything. Konami lost their 2 guys.
that's true. They lost both Igarashi and
Kojima.
Yeah.
That was like their entire development staff right there.
Good.
I would look personally. I would love for Konami to bounce back.
Oh, of course.
and not be such a shithead developer or company. But if it's anything like what they did with Metal Gear, like making the Survive game, and like they do that with other franchises, then I'm gonna be very skeptical about it.
I'll stick with Bloodstained, thanks.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
See, I can always fall back on that because I know I'm gonna love that game.
I
Hopefully.
mean, to be fair, like it seems like the most successful franchise they have now that did really well was Bomberman, because Super Bomberman did really good.
Yeah, Super Bomberman was a great game. So,
Yeah.
you know, Super Bomberman 2, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
We'll just use it up and just do other franchises again. Bomberman. I mean, Bomberman.
Castlevania,
I don't-
Contra.
well, I mean, yeah. I'm with Castlevania is the obvious one for me. But I don't know. It's weird. I would love to see other franchises get revitalized, but I also realize at the same time, you know, they're not for everyone. They're kind of they're so old, and though I would be ecstatic for like a new Contra game or Gradius or Castlevania, at the end of the day, I know it's not going to sell millions. You know,
No, but I think they could take the Capcom approach of Mega Man 11 and then just Konami could just make Contra 5 and it's just like a Contra 4 thing except it looks more modern.
Yeah.
You know, they could just do that and just make it physical and boom, they got a bunch of money.
Yeah. Yeah, though, but the thing is that those are the kind of smaller projects you do alongside what's supposed to be your big guns that make you those guaranteed.
But that's too much
millions.
faith to put into Konami.
But that's the
Yeah,
thing, though.
at this point, I would much rather prefer the smaller ones to just get things going.
Well, another question is what is Konami's big guns?
They don't. They
Silent
You
Hill.
don't-
I
well,
think if they made a
not
Silent
anymore.
Hill, well, if they made a Silent Hill that actually looked really, really good.
Here's the problem with Silent Hill. They completely burned that bridge a while ago.
Ted, unfortunately, even if it were to look great, people won't buy it out of spite because of PT.
Yep.
You know, that's just how it works. It's the same. It's the exact same reason for Metal Gear Survive, which I hear was a perfectly okay game if we're looking past the bastardization of MGS5's plot or anything like that. Well, I mean, not so much because that game barely had any plot.
Yeah,
but
they just can't make a Metal Gear game anymore.
yeah, they can't make Metal Gear anymore. They can't make Silent Hill anymore.
No.
They're just people are not going to buy it. They're not going to buy it, and they're going to bitch about it.
And when you look at all the other franchises that Konami has, it's like gonna make a new
like
Frogger.
A Frogger isn't gonna make people excited.
I don't think. I don't even think if they made like a new Suikoden, people would really lose it. You have a stronger chance of seeing a free-to-play Dance Dance Revolution game than anything else.
Now,
Like
if they
the
remade
only-
Silent Hill 2,
Ooh.
then people will probably get over that bridge. They'll find a way to jump 15 feet in the air to cross that gap. But I don't think they'll ever do anything with Metal Gear or Silent Hill. Ever
No.
again. So we're back at the
any
original question: what is their big guns?
They legit.
Castlevania.
They don't. Yeah, I think
Well,
Castlevania is the
yeah.
next one, but you know we already talked about.
What's the
it,
next
so.
one they can ruin?
Yeah.
Yeah, give me my 1999 game. Just fucking. I don't even give it's a piece of shit. I just want my 1999 game.
Well,
Why?
just play
You
as
know what
Julius.
happens. Julius beats Dracula, and then it ends.
Yeah, but we can. It's always a safe assumption that a Belmont or where someone or other is going to defeat Dracula at the end of the game. It's about the journey. Ted.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
But if
Spoiler
you said
alert
you
for a
did-
game that's 15 years old.
Yeah, but John, you just straight out said that you don't care if it's bad. So if it's about the journey and the journey's
Oh
bad,
no,
then
I
what's
just
the
want
point?
it out of principle because they've been teasing that game for such a long fucking time since RESR came out. Like I want the Julius Belmont 1999 adventure. where they seal Dracula in a solar eclipse, because that makes fucking sense.
And then afterwards, he waits in line for a PS2.
Yeah. The best ending.
Okay.
Any other third parties, or should we jump to the final?
The
The final,
conference.
Yeah.
the big boy.
Okay.
Yep. The one that I mean, unless Sony really shows off something spectacular with a few of their games, is kind of the default winner, quote unquote, right now.
This is you want to know how bizarre it is to be going into an E3 and knowing that Nintendo has like 5 games that people are excited to see.
Oh, I'll
This
list off more
literally
than that.
never happens. Never. Like the past 6 years coming out of Nintendo, it's like I hope they pull something out of their ass, and like 1 out of every 4 times they do.
Yeah.
But most of the times they don't. It's like, okay, we know about Bayonetta, Yoshi, Smash Brothers, which is a big one. Pokemon.
Yep.
I know people are mixed about Pokemon.
Specifically about Gen 8, but they're not going to show Gen 8, obviously.
Yeah, but Pokemon.
Prime
we'll talk
4.
about Prime 4.
4.
You know,
Fire Emblem.
And people have been talking about Pikmin and Animal Crossing.
Pikmin, Animal Crossing.
Years. So there's like at the very least like 4 guaranteed huge games that they're going to be showing. You know, for like, and not just showing in terms of, oh, we've seen it before and we're getting more details. Like this is full blowouts. Like we're gonna get a blowout about Metroid Prime and a blowout about Smash Brothers, no doubt. Probably Bayonetta as well.
Yep.
It's bizarre. That hasn't happened since like 2007 is the last time I can remember knowing that we were going into a great conference. from Nintendo.
Going into it, yeah, but I mean, like 2010 was big because there was also another one of we don't know what they're doing, and that was when the 3DS was coming. But after that, yeah.
Like I mean, we've had good conferences from them before, but they've all been fluke surprises, like 2014 or last year.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, it's weird, man. It's
going
weird.
to be so awesome. As the Nintendo fanboy here is going to be so.
Well, I mean, we're all Nintendo
I know.
fanboys, so.
As a Nintendo fanboy here.
So anyway, just to get it out of the way, stuff I do not want them to spend a lot of time on.
Sushi.
Splatoon Octo expansion. I am excited for that, but that comes out in like a month. I don't need to see it. Mario Tennis. Again, I'm excited for that, but it comes out
a week
in
afterwards.
like 2 weeks, so I don't need to see it. Sushi game.
Yay.
I hear that people like it, so you know, good for you. But
It's also basically a match 3 puzzler. There's not much to say on it.
Yeah.
so yeah, don't need to hear about that. Kirby, like I can't believe I'm saying this, but
I don't
Kirby
wanna
Star
see
Allies DLC. I love DeRoche, and I'm excited for the other characters, but that's not something we need at.
That's a treehouse
E3.
thing.
Yeah.
Not even. I don't think that's.
Yeah, I
even
don't
a
even think
Treehouse
that.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't think we need to see any of the. Like I mean, I'm sure we'll see some Splatoon on Treehouse, but the rest of them, I actually hope that they skip entirely for other.
Well, I get the feeling they'll show a bit of Octoling.
There'll be
Yeah.
like a little
Splatoon is such a
2-minute
big-
trailer.
Yeah, there'll be a little thing for it, but I don't think they'll spend too
No
much
doubt.
time on it. The big focus, I believe, will be Smash and
Well, of course.
will be Smash, obviously, and probably Fire Emblem.
Prime.
Now-
I think Metroid
Well,
Prime
no,
is
no,
going.
Prime will not be ready though. They'll show it, but it won't be ready.
Yeah.
We'll get our first
I've-
trailer of Prime 4, but I don't think
Yeah.
we're going to get
Well-
anything else besides that.
Fire
Really?
Emblem was.
I'm thinking
Fire
that's going to be
Emblem's been
2019.
Yeah, Fire
Yeah,
Emblem
Prime
is
4,
something that-
yeah.
Fire
Sadly.
Emblem is something I expect will show up. Will be released this year as kind of their big single-player RPG thing, like a la Xenoblade 2.
I guess that makes sense. Again, not to say that it's easier to make a Fire Emblem as opposed to Metroid Prime.
it's
but
more
it
that
will
Fire
take
Emblem.
less time.
It's more that Fire Emblem was announced 2 years ago.
Yeah, they've been working
They've
on
been
it for a
working on
while.
it.
Yeah, and again, not that it's easier or harder to make a first-person shooter as opposed to a tactical RPG, but they've been cranking out Fire Emblem games like clockwork for years, so they know how to make them
Right.
quickly. Is the
Yeah.
thing. So, yeah. So Fire Emblem. I know John does not care. So.
Is that
What do
is
you-
that an Animusha spin-off?
It's a Western anime style Animusha. There you go. As far as what I would like to see, pull back on a lot of the nonsense that Face introduced. You know, get that kind of crap under control before it really spills over.
No more relationship garbage. It was neat.
Well,
it was
I-
neat in
I-
Awakening. They
yeah.
made it make sense in Awakening,
Well,
and then you
well,
have to
no,
just like blow on your spouse in Fates.
Well,
Yeah.
well, obviously that's too much. I'm just saying that the whole pairing up relationship thing was been a thing for a while in Fire Emblem. Just tone it down.
Keep marriages. I don't think we need kids anymore. Is the
That's a
thing.
better
Like,
way of putting it, yeah.
Part of the fun of what made Awakening fun for me in a way that the earlier Fire Emblems weren't is that the relationship system and the upgraded support system made it so that those characters don't disappear from the story as soon as you join your team. Because again, the permadeath thing in Fire Emblem makes it so that you care about these characters, but if a character joins your team and you never see their personality again afterwards, it's like, oh no, Urk died. Who was Urk? Oh right, he's my. I care because I lost a wizard. I don't care because I lost a person. So the supports in Awakening made me care about these characters as people, as
Introduced
opposed to
in
just
Path
new
of Radiance, by the way.
No, there were supports before Path of Radiance. There were supports.
It was a big like conversation in the battle thing in Path of Radiance, though.
Okay, that's okay. Well, I haven't played that because it's like $100.
Basically, instead of doing it outside of battles, when you put characters next to each other, they had a converse option.
Oh, okay. So yeah, yeah. So I don't know. I think the thing about a Fire Emblem that I would really want is just for it to not the story to be good. I guess. Is
Yeah,
the thing.
good story and good characters. That's what I didn't like about Fates.
Yeah.
I would like a little bit more variety in like weapons you could use. Like the weapon triangle will always be a thing, but I'd like a bit more variety on that. Like say instead of a spear, you could get a naginata that does certain things. Like I know that's always been in Fire Emblem, but make that more of a core concept.
I think I actually like the weapon system in Fates, and the thing that they did with weapons in Echoes was interesting, but I kind of want them to go back to the old way it was in terms of weapon durability, where, okay, you can get better weapons, but they have less uses, so you can't spam them all the time.
Yeah,
I think that concept's more interesting.
Yeah, I never liked the whole getting rid of the weapon durability thing, because then it just made, just keep them with the silver sword, because it's the best one.
Yeah, like, I mean, it was an interesting idea. I'm glad they tried it, but I think that going back to the way it used to be is, I think, just the way that they should go. Keep Mila's turn wheel or whatever the hell they call it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that was fantastic.
Yeah. Don't bring back dungeons because I thought that those were dull as hell.
That
in
was
Echoes.
unfortunately a thing regarding Gaiden that they just kind
Yeah.
of.
I feel like they're gonna bring that back because that's probably the main reason why they wanted to remake Gaiden in the first place, because it was an element they wanted to test out, see what people thought about it, and then put it in the Switch game.
Okay.
And people didn't like it. Is the thing.
Well,
Most people didn't like it.
Why I didn't like dungeons in Shadows of Valentia was because they weren't dungeons. They were Final Fantasy 13 dungeons. You walked in a straight line. Occasionally, you turned left and found a chest, but otherwise, it was painfully simple. So unless if they make them actually interesting, and okay, so actually another thing about the dungeons that I didn't like is that the random battles against the monsters didn't involve any strategy because all you did was move your units up, whack them in the face, and then you win.
That's more Gaiden.
Immediately. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, again, if they're going to be bringing these ideas from, I wish that they had changed more then at the very least, because I know that you're basing it off a game from 1987, or whenever it came out, I don't remember, but at the same time, you can still change things to make them better while still keeping the core idea intact, because remakes have done that for forever. Like, the best one I can point at is Metroid, but, Zero Mission is also, like, the best game. So,
Yep.
Yeah. Other Fire Emblem stuff.
Not really. I'll probably have more to say on it when we actually see it.
Yeah.
Is the thing.
Yeah, it's hard to talk about.
It'll
something
look
we
pretty
know
because it'll be in HD.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Any particular wishes for Prime 4?
That we see it.
Well,
That'd
yes,
be
besides
rad.
that.
I mean, assuming
gotta get Johnny back in this year somehow.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was a lot of words you guys just said for the last 5 minutes.
I'm
Okay,
assuming
it's
like the Phazon has to come back. That's the whole point of Prime.
Not really. They could just keep the gameplay because, like, Hunters didn't really have Phazon at all. And I know that people don't like that game, but it's still technically a Prime game.
No, I think Phazon's done.
Okay, so you don't think Dark Samus at all?
No, because Prime 1 didn't have Dark Samus.
Well, I mean, it did.
Well, it
Metroid
built
Prime
up
is Dark
to-
Samus.
yeah.
Well, it built up to it, but my point is that Dark Samus doesn't define Prime or anything like that. I don't think, in my opinion, it doesn't.
So then-
Prime to me is always just 3D Metroid. That's how I define Prime.
Okay.
Story
Well,
is
yeah, well,
irrelevant.
sure. I'm just thinking like plot-wise, so I'm guessing like maybe Silex then takes that role.
Yeah, they're finally going to follow up on that cliffhanger from Prime 3 and the end of Federation Force.
Okay, so here's my question regarding the game's controls. I'm assuming that because we're going back to a more standard controller, there'll be an option for GameCube Prime controls. But after playing the Wii Trilogy and Prime 3, I cannot go back to GameCube Prime controls.
Well, I mean, we have way more shoulder and general buttons now on the Pro. Why can't it be twin stick?
I would prefer
Personally,
gyro.
yeah.
Well,
I agree.
I'm saying you couldn't have a. I'm not saying you couldn't have like a double Joy-Con situation where it does have the motion controls, but if you were using the Pro controller, why couldn't it be twin stick?
Yeah. Well, multiple options: twin stick, gyro
Yeah.
controls, Joy-Cons for. I guess you could simulate something of the Wii trilogy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait to play Metroid Prime using a single Joy-Con on its side.
No,
Damn
dude,
right.
the Pokeball.
Yeah.
Pokeball. Oh, yeah, the best. Oh.
No, with that Pokeball thing, someone's going to be Dark Souls remastered with
Hell
it.
yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Modify the Pokeball so it looks like a morph ball. Yeah.
Ooh.
I'd totally be down with that.
So, why does Samus lose all her powers this time?
Another bonk on the head.
Yeah. Another bonk in the head.
Man.
No, she trips.
Man, for the
God
most-
damn it! I lost my missiles.
For the most advanced piece of technology known in the galaxy, the suit really sucks. You know,
Yeah.
you breathe on it wrong, and suddenly the grapple beam doesn't work anymore. Okay, whatever. Yeah. So
The thing
again,
is,
it's
I think
weird
the rumor.
talking about
sorry.
games you know literally nothing about.
Well, that's the
'cause it's
thing.
all
Yeah.
speculation.
The only thing I think we know is that it is rumored, not officially confirmed, but Bandai Namco is working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have confidence.
We'll
I mean, that's a fairly reputable name.
Shit, if it's just HD Prime,
Yeah, just remake the
if
first
it's
game.
if it's just like just
Literally,
the first
no,
game. No, kidding,
no
okay.
more new games. We're just remaking everything that came out before this.
I wouldn't be
it's set
so
up in a
mad at an
similar-
HD Metro
if
Prime
it-
one.
If it's set up in a similar way of the first Prime, that's all I need. No, not to put down like I'll put down Prime 2, but like Prime 3 wasn't bad. I can go back to Prime 3 no problem. But
What if we get Admiral Dane back?
Admiral.
Oh.
You see, I like Admiral Dane. Admiral Dane's cool.
I don't want anyone back.
He has a peg leg. Adam doesn't have a peg leg.
Let's
no.
bring back the Federation Force.
Yeah, glorified cameo maybe.
Or a green biker dude setup.
What
Yeah,
if
or
what if
just little
Samus
action
in Prime 4 looks like Big Head Samus from Federation
My
Force?
God, that would piss me off like so hard. But and I guess
It's just like her Prime model, but then her head is blown up like 10
yeah,
Yes.
they got that big head
Big
mode.
head mode is left on. Oops.
Yeah. Structurally, I'm looking for something very akin to the first Prime game.
Yeah, just throw you into a world, go.
Yeah, go. Like, just good luck.
Make it a little bit longer. Make it like a 5-hour adventure instead of 3, or whatever.
Well,
How good are you guys at these games that you
I was
can
gonna
beat the
say,
first
like,
I know.
time in 3 hours?
yeah,
Not 3
Yeah,
hours.
I
You know what
mean,
I'm saying?
yeah. It was like first time Prime players probably
Just
take,
make
like,
instead of
over
a
10
30-minute
hours.
game. Come on, get your act together.
Yeah. Guys, I can
you
literally
use-
clip
you
through
use-
the wall behind me, and there's the mother brain. Like, what the fuck?
How did this happen?
Yeah, so
I'm just more curious
Yeah.
as to what the game's going to look like, honestly, because we haven't.
I'm assuming gorgeous.
Yeah, we've never had an HD Prime game. Ever.
Yeah.
So like
There are a lot of
that's what I
Nintendo
was
franchises
saying.
we don't have an HD version of.
We're not getting F-Zero right.
No.
see, you said it, not me. So
I'll say.
Yeah, but
I'll
I don't
say
have
it too.
those. I don't
It's
have those mystical voodoo powers that you do, Ted.
Only that's his special skill.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Metroid. I mean, I'm excited for it. Do you think that we see, like, I know I joked about Federation Force, but do you think we see anything else regarding Metroid? Like,
Probably
like,
not.
Not
like,
this year.
I would actually like a Federation Force 2, so people don't shit on it this time, because Federation Force is actually a good game. Or another 2D one, I would also be happy
Well,
as well.
that's the thing is Samus Returns
Was last.
yeah, but also I won't spoil it. Has some things that lead to potential more story in that universe that I don't think they'll answer in Prime. So I think
No.
we're gonna get a totally original 2D Metroid game. I just don't think
I would
this year.
love a Metroid 5, yeah.
I'm thinking they're gonna
So-
show Prime 4 off this year. It'll come out maybe spring of next year, and then we'll get a 2D announcement
Yeah.
at
That's
E3
what I'm
next year.
thinking. Yeah.
Maybe if it comes out winter next year, I can imagine them doing what they did with Prime and Fusion and releasing them around the same time.
Yeah,
That'd
but
be
now
neat.
they're gonna both be on the same console, so I don't know.
Yeah.
3DS in winter
no more
2019.
No more
3DS.
3DS. No more 3DS. I'm surprised we didn't start the damn conversation with that. Like, no 3DS, please. Like, no 3DS.
We're
I
gonna
love
get
it.
like one or two
It's a great
3DS games,
handheld.
just,
I
but
love
just
it.
strictly in Treehouse.
But it is over it's nearly a decade old. like, can we just move on, please? The Switch is
The
perfectly
poor
fine.
thing's on life support.
Yeah.
And I don't think Wario's gonna save it.
Wario, a GameCube remake, and a 3DS remake.
Yeah, we're just gonna get another remake.
Wario's technically a remake too, because it's a best of
Yeah,
microgames
yeah.
compilation.
Fucking the last game for it is going to be Just Dance. Like, in about 10 years from now.
Oh, on 3DS, that'd be sick.
Yeah.
You know
See
what?
how
I'll
that
buy
works.
it.
It has a gyro in there. You just waggle
Swing
your
your 3DS
system around.
Well, you guys brought up Wario. They did. I know that they re-upped the Wario Land trademark. I know that they're probably just doing that for
Yeah.
IP purposes. but do you think-
Trademarks mean absolutely nothing.
It would be fantastic if they made another Wario Land game,
Agreed.
but I don't think it's gonna happen.
especially if it was as good looking as Shake It on Wii.
Yeah.
Like that same art style.
And actually in
but that'd be-
widescreen this time, because that game wasn't, because that was weird.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
bizarre.
It was something to do tech-wise with the way that they programmed the backgrounds.
Listen, man, the Wii was underpowered. Did you hear?
Yeah. Yeah, so I'd be happy for that.
Yes.
But anyway, the Bayonetta is another big one that I expect to see this
Yep.
year.
See, Bayonetta, I feel like is not something you can really hype up by showing, because like what you're gonna see is the same stuff you saw in Bayonetta 1 and 2. But the thing is, that's all I want. I just want more of that, looking a little nicer, maybe crazier set pieces. But you know what Bayonetta 3 is gonna be.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
Then it could be a blocks everyone on Twitter.
Yes, I'm blocked. I didn't think I meant. I'm blocked by him on
Hey, I'm
Twitter.
happy for him because he's a new robot master in Mega Man 11.
He blocked me.
Yeah, he's Block Man. So, they're happy for him. I'm in the same boat as you. I know I'm going to love the game. So just show me a bit of it and give me a release date.
Yeah, that's all I want.
When do you think it would come out? Is the thing.
October.
I imagine that'll be like a late winter thing if it's coming out this year at all.
Oh yeah.
I don't think it's
December.
coming out this year. I would say around
Yeah.
the same time as we think Prime 4 is spring next year.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think
See, I
I'll go
don't-
for December.
Yeah, I think that, I think Prime is going to be late next year if it's not this year at all. Because
Yeah.
I think that that's something that they would want to be a holiday game. But, yeah, I can see next year for Prime, I think.
Yeah. As far as releases go, here's what I kind of imagine Nintendo doing. Smash is the big one, obviously.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
And the reason-
rumored for
and-
September this
Yeah,
year.
whenever the
Yeah.
online goes, pay.
So, and obviously we're not really going to talk about that because that's just going to be a huge reaction thing after the fact.
Of course.
Yeah.
So Smash will be their big one.
Well, no, we have to talk a little Smash.
Well,
We'll
a
do
little
that
bit, but
level.
not.
Yeah.
We'll try to limit it. Smash is the big one. Fire Emblem's kind of the big single-player RPG thing. Call it Xeno 2.
Pokemon.
Yeah,
also.
Pokemon, and
Well,
Yoshi.
talk-
Yeah, and Yoshi will be like the.
Yoshi will come out in like
tier
August.
game. Yeah. So
Well-
that'll be kind of like their later year stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I think Yoshi, we don't remember what happened with Yoshi's Woolly World though, where we saw that game like as soon as the Wii U was announced, and then that game didn't come out for like 4 years.
Well, yeah, for the Wii U, they
yeah.
did the same thing Sony did, where they just announced a bunch of things at once, and then they just spread it over a few years. I don't think Nintendo's gonna do that again.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know if any of us have a lot to say about Yoshi specifically.
I mean-
It's a Yoshi game.
It's a Yoshi game. Good feel, or good developers. They did Wario Land. They did Kirby's Epic Yarn, Woolly World. They're good.
Yeah, it'll be a perfectly fine game. I'm just not a big Yoshi guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess quick thing on Pokemon.
Well,
'cause
yeah.
got
Well,
shown.
that just got announced like yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks awesome. Personally speaking.
Okay. Well, we're gonna have this. Well, okay.
You want to have
so
this
I'm
debate?
kinda
Listen, I have a nearly complete Pokédex in Pokemon Go. The fact that I am now validated for the amount of time and also money, which I will not disclose how much I've spent on Pokemon Go, but the fact that now I am now validated in Pokemon Let's Go, more than happy with that.
So here's the thing. I'm mixed.
Congratulations, Anthony. You and me are the only two people about.
Hell yes.
So I'm mixed because on its own merits, it looks fine to me. Like, I think that the graphics for what they are cute. You know, being able to dress up your Pikachu or Eevee is adorbs. Following Pokemon are back, finally.
Yes.
It's only been like, what?
10 years.
9 years
Yeah,
we've been asking
9.
for that. So, thank you.
No random encounters. It's all Pokemon on the field.
That,
It's great.
yes. I mean, I know that people poo-poo Kanto, but Kanto's a good region, so I don't really care. Here's the thing. I'm more worried about what Pokemon Let's Go says for the potential of a Gen 8, which I know we have coming out in 2019. But if Pokemon Gen 8 looks like Pokemon Let's Go, I'm going to be disappointed. Because I think what I wanted for Gen 8 is an increase in scope. And Let's Go is pared down considerably from what I would want. And on its own, that's fine. Like, you know, it's a spin-off. It can be a smaller thing, and that's okay.
Well, for now, I mean, if it's tied to Go, there are chances that they'll just add more content the same way they added more content to Go.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more, if Pokemon Gen 8 looks like Let's Go, I'm going to be disappointed in Gen 8 specifically. But on its own, it looks fun enough.
It's perfectly cute and functional and all that. My biggest issue is obviously the Go mechanics.
Sure.
Because
Like,
Go, you know, just I've said it, but Go is not a good game.
No,
on
Go
its
is
own.
bad. I've just spent a lot of time in it.
Yeah. No, as a social thing while you're out and about is perfectly fine, but you know, bringing the capture mechanics, like, no, you've literally removed half the point of playing a Pokemon game at that point. You know, the CP is in the game. Why are you having CP if you're going to have actual battles in here?
Yeah, I don't know how leveling is going to work, because the way it works in Go is you just get enough of the same Pokemon and then just slaughter the ones you don't want and then use them to level up.
Grind them down into dust.
No, into candy. That's literally what it is.
Yeah, I mean, they showed the battles, and they were normal Pokemon battles.
For team battles,
Yeah,
yeah.
so why is CP there at all? I mean, another point for it. I love how it's, like, actually in the area you're in
Yeah.
now. I mean, they kind of did that for, like, X and Y and Sumo, but that was only for, like, specific, like, Elite Four or Gym Leader stuff.
Yeah, so...
I mean,
There is good here, but there's a lot I'm worried about as well.
I fully understand people being upset that we didn't get to see a proper Gen 8, like a proper evolution of the series, but for me, I did not like Gen 6, I did not like Gen 7, so if they want to take more time to make Gen 8 and then they just do this Gen 1er appeasing them, which, to be fair, they're getting all the people who came from Go and also building on Switch hype. They're getting a wider audience. I saw a ton of people being hyped for this game because they're not into the inner minutia of IV checking and all that stuff.
Why? It's Pokemon's not a hard game to just
No, it's
play.
not a hard game, but they just make it even simpler.
What's accessible? Excuse me. What's considered accessible now and what was considered accessible in 1998 are two different things.
But they're more accessible now than they were in 1998.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, only kids cared about Pokemon in 1998. Now everybody cares.
Okay, here's the thing. I'm assuming most of Go's player base is later teens and adults. Would that be a fair assumption?
Probably, yes. Because
if you are a fully
8-year-olds are walking around
with smartphones.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're a later teen or fully functioning adult and you can't figure out how to play a baseline Pokemon RPG, I have to question.
Well, no,
what you're
I
doing
don't
games.
think it's for those people. That's what I'm saying. I think it's just for the people who like bought the Switch purely on hype and also remember playing Pokemon when they were younger. That's my thought. The Pokemon fan is gonna buy it anyway, because whether you like it or you don't, that's what Pokemon fans are strong enough to where they'll check anything out.
They're like Pokemon fan base and the Sonic fan base are the same thing.
Yeah.
They whine about everything and then buy the game anyway.
But that's why I think they're trying to get the people who came back with Go, because I saw a ton of people be like, oh, now I got to go back and play Go. You know, no one said that for Sun and Moon. They were like, oh, cool, Kanto Pokemon.
But you don't need a bridge game. It's not a hard thing to bridge.
That's
my confusion.
Yeah, they don't. Well, here's the thing. I agree with Anthony in that I would rather them spend time on Gen 8 because...
No. That's a separate issue entirely. I'm totally fine with them taking more time for Gen 8. I'm just saying, like...
Yeah, if they feel like they need to make a game in between to bridge the time, because it frustrates me how Pokemon fans need a game every year, but they also want each game to
be different,
revolutionize everything. It's like, no, that's
like,
not how it works.
That's not how it works at all.
No.
You also have no right to call people out on Call of Duty shit if you're gonna need your yearly Pokemon fix.
Yeah. No. Again, that's not what my complaint is. It's just the whole. I've seen a lot of it's here to bridge the Go players to core RPGs. Like, they're not hard games, guys.
I don't know if it's meant to be a bridge.
I don't think it's necessarily bridge. I think they're skewing even younger than Pokemon does before.
Yeah.
Like, I think like Pokemon was like 4 to 6, like even is the thing, because there's a lot of here's the thing: the game stars Pikachu and Eevee, two of the cutest Pokemon out there. There's a huge emphasis on A, you can't evolve them, B, you can give them stupid costumes, which looks amazing. This is very much designed to be a very casual experience. You know, I think like it's going to go for the same age range that like the Pokepark games on Wii.
Yeah,
I suppose so. It just still kind of confuses me, but to each their own. I mean,
because you don't play Pokemon with your friends or family, you lonely shit.
Neither do you.
What? Excuse me. Speak for yourself. I have friends and family that I play Pokemon with. I just don't want to talk about it.
When's the last time you traded with them, John?
I'll say what?
When was the last time you traded with them?
Actually, I think the last Pokemon I traded was with Matt 3 years ago. Pokemon
Exactly.
2.
There you go.
But see, conversely, I play Pokemon Go with a lot of people, so
yeah.
I feel like that is, again, I think that's the market they're going for.
Yeah.
Yeah,
maybe.
Get some friends.
We'll have to see. I mean, like I said, there's plenty of stuff I do like in here, and I'm going to give the game its fair shot.
So that's only because there's Eevee on it.
No, if it was just Pikachu, I would have gotten it to give it its fair shot too.
But Eevee's better.
Eevee definitely helps.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting the Eevee version, obviously.
Yeah. Yes.
Am I the only one going for Pikachu version?
Because you're lame.
I just my voice Raichu.
Oh.
You can't because you can't evolve it.
Yeah, so you could get the Eevee version and just catch a Pikachu and then evolve.
You can get a Raichu.
Fuck Clefairy.
Yeah. fuck Clefairy and fuck Poliwhirl.
When will Dunsparce become the mascot that this series deserves?
After Sunkern does it.
Ooh.
Completely unrelated, but have you seen the prototype gold Pokemon?
Yeah.
They're terrifying.
The Space World 99 demo
the Noctowl one looks sweet.
Yeah, and like, Proto Leafeon.
Seeing like designs that they would eventually use again later, like
Pichu is both adorable and terrifying.
Like the fact that it's like, oh, we didn't make a Tangela evolution, so let's make one 2 generations from now blows my mind. But that's completely off topic.
Yeah.
I like the I think it was Mime Jr. is an egg with like a little tuft of hair. I love it.
Oh man.
But if they want designs to call back on with Gen 8, they could.
Potentially, yeah.
Actually, so yeah, speaking of, they're announcing a new Pokemon in they can have a new Gen 8 Pokemon in Let's Go.
Oh
which is probably the rumored evolution.
So it's either going to be or it could be both Gorochu, the Raichu evolution, or new normal evolution for Eevee.
For Eevee, or it could wind up being both. The exclusive per version or something.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll see. I don't want to speculate too much on.
I expect to see a decent amount of gameplay footage and seeing how it actually works.
Yeah.
And maybe that will appease some of the people who are skeptical, or maybe it'll make them more angry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm already all in.
Yeah.
I guess end on Smash then, since we probably don't want to.
Well, there's also a lot of potential games that they could announce, like Animal Crossing. It's time. Pikmin 4. It's time.
Well, you see, Pikmin 4 bothers me because that game's been almost done for like 3 years.
I know, so there have to be It's weird that they haven't shown it.
Here's the thing. I know people really want Animal Crossing specifically, but I feel like people underestimate how long it takes those games to be made.
It's been enough time.
You don't understand that every Animal Crossing game has enough writing in it to be like worth 2 copies of War and Peace, and that takes a long time to write.
I like Animal Crossing War and Peace.
I'm just saying that the amount of text in those games is absurd.
Okay,
you don't think about it, but
the time gap is already the longest it's ever been between Animal Crossing titles.
Well, I mean, didn't Amiibo Festival hold you over?
You watch your damn mouth.
Don't you ever see a festival near me.
Animal Crossing games come out usually 5 years apart or less. New Leaf came out in 2012. I think maybe spring 2013.
Japan, it was 2013 in the United States.
So It's over 5 years. It's the longest gap between. People could argue the Welcome Amiibo pack and New Leaf, whatever. It's been long enough.
No, I expect something to be announced. I'm not an Animal Crossing guy. I'm not a life sim person, so.
I will lose weeks and months of my life in the Switch game.
You people are nuts because they'll just get them on like your SD card on the Switch and you'll never stop playing it.
Yep.
Of course.
Yeah, if I had downloaded New Leaf onto my 3DS instead of buying a physical version, I'd probably still be playing it right now.
Yep.
Like, no joke. So here's the thing: I wouldn't be surprised if it was announced, but we didn't see a lot of it, because those games do take a lot of time to make, and they've been making spin-offs. Like, say what you will about Amiibo Festival, that was a game that came out and they had to spend time working on it. That, Happy Home Designer, I actually thought that game was pretty good.
Yeah, I liked it. It was okay.
Yeah, so, obviously that slowed down time and process in making a new Animal Crossing. So, if they announce it this year and it doesn't come out until like summer next year, I think that would be okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Spring or summer next year.
Later spring, probably.
Summer, I would say summer, capitalized.
Summer's a good time for Animal Crossing, yeah. So yeah, also, again, Pikmin, like, please. It's been long enough.
It's been long enough, but there's no way to say anything about it, so.
The only thing I would wonder about is, again, control. Like, because the Wiimote control with the gamepad in Pikmin 3 was beautiful.
It is possible to use the right Joy-Con as a pointer, technically using gyroscope. It doesn't seem to work fantastically, which is weird on Nintendo's part.
Yeah, the thing is that since there's no IR sensor anymore, there's nothing for it to calibrate to, so it becomes desynced really easily.
Yeah.
So you'd have to constantly resync it. And I don't want to have to do that in the middle of a heated fight in Pikmin.
Right.
Because then I'll get... Because that was a problem in Star Fox Zero, is you always had to constantly resync your controls, which is irritating. So, yeah. Like, I think we're more likely to see Animal Crossing than Pikmin this year. But something would be nice, even just yes, it still exists.
Same way they hyped up Metroid last year. Just a logo.
It's a logo in space with like a Pikmin.
Just a Pikmin flying through space.
It's gonna be a long, long time.
That'd be great. Just a Pikmin flying through space.
Yeah. And Alamar's rocket runs right into it.
Of course, because it always runs into something.
Yeah,
it's just a Pikmin voice doing the part thing.
And I mean, like, speaking of Star Fox Grand Prix, the rumored game.
Do you guys think that's real?
I think
it's real. I think it's real.
I don't think it's
fake.
I
I think it's fake.
Yeah, I don't think it's real.
That's way too basic and lame a logo to be something like that's so easily faked.
Okay.
Okay.
And I think even Nintendo would not be so ridiculously tone deaf to do something like that.
I don't think that's being tone deaf. I think the Star Fox franchise has enough that they can work with.
Yeah.
To make the rumored Diddy Kong Racing styled game.
I think Ryan's more talking about, okay, we're going to make a sci-fi futuristic racer, and it's not going to be F-Zero.
It's like, literally, what's the point at that point?
Because I don't think they can do much with F-Zero. People want it so bad, but I think GX is the culmination of everything they could do. You would just get an HD GX.
You could do stuff with it. It's perfect. I mean,
well, to be fair, I think people would buy an HD. I think people would buy an HD GX.
Yeah, well, there's that, but it's like, oh, F-Zero can't do, adventure mode. Yeah, you can. Any racer can. You just got to put some effort into it. If Crash could.
Not to mention, it has also been 14 years, and even just having online is something new enough for F-Zero that I think it's worth it.
So just the idea of making a futuristic racer but putting Star Fox and not F-Zero is just like, okay, that'd be like saying, I'm trying to think of a comparable example. Let's make, let's make, a dungeon trotting, medieval style fantasy adventure game, but make it Fire Emblem and not Zelda. It's
people would play that.
Well, yes. I'm just saying. Essentially, you're missing the point because you have a franchise that already does that.
Well, you don't have to limit a franchise to its.
You don't have
genre.
to, but at this, you've been ignoring one for so long, and then you suddenly decide to do that genre. You're like,
I guess it's like as someone who does, I just don't care about F-Zero. They're fun. They're okay. And if they made a new one and had online, people would just be like, "Oh, okay, it's F-Zero with online."
Yeah,
that's all they would say. People just want F-Zero for name. I think I feel like if they were to just port it digitally on Switch, I think that would get the job done just as well.
Or just make HDGX again.
And I know that statement's going to piss some people off, but I think there's more potential
welcome to
with
BrainScratch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think there's more potential in Star Fox than F-Zero.
I disagree entirely,
That's fine.
especially after Star Fox Zero just completely crapped the bed.
Well, here's the thing. This game is rumored to be being made by Retro, who has not made a game since Tropical Freeze, and I doubt porting that to the Switch, Funky Kong aside, that didn't take an awful lot of time or effort. So, what are they doing? Like, what are they up to?
Well, the rumor is that the game they were working on after Tropical Freeze got canned.
That would be disappointing, but, like...
Well, that if that is a rumor, that does, like, tie into a couple... For the last few years, they were saying Retro Studios was going through some weird, bumpy turbulence in game development.
Yeah, so...
It's not the game I wanted them to work on, but if they are, it sounds cool.
If it was anything other than Star Tropics, it wasn't the game you wanted them to work on.
I mean, I didn't want to say it, but you're not wrong. Star Fox Grand Prix, or Star Tropics Grand Prix, now that
Mike Jones just rides on a giant yo-yo.
On a giant banana.
Yeah.
He
drives a banana mobile.
Yes.
Are we still talking about F-Zero?
I mean, Zoda from Star Tropics 2 is in F-Zero, so...
There you go.
I mean, I'd be okay with them making a new Star Fox game because, Star Fox Zero...
is a bad game.
No,
that
game gets too much crap.
It's not
bad. It's
unoriginal as hell, but it's not a bad game.
They have a bunch of assets for that game lying around that they could polish up and make a good shooter for the Switch, and they should do that, I think.
Yeah. No, I agree there. I just think that'd be a very weird timing to do a Star Fox spin-off racer after Zero really annoyed a lot of people.
Well, I don't think we need to make it a spin-off. I just think they need to make it normal.
Well, no, I'm just saying relation to the F-Zero, not F-Zero, Star Fox Grand Prix, whatever.
Like, I mean, I think it would be fun, especially if they let you keep, like, your weapons and crap,
Yeah.
Like, I think it could be a fun time, but...
And anyway...
I do think that people would have a similar reaction to Federation Force,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Anyway...
Are there any other games besides Smash Brothers left to talk about?
I don't think so, beyond just, random wishful thinking.
Yeah.
Kid Icarus Uprising 2,
okay.
please?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, sure, whatever.
Yeah.
I know that's not happening.
A new Ice Climbers? Yeah.
Still
yes.
got it.
Yeah. Urban Champion HD?
Okay.
No.
Okay, Smash.
Yeah.
Smash Brothers.
It'll get shown, it'll get a release date.
Yeah.
Yes. That's going to be their big thing, and they're going to blow out a lot of information.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
No doubt.
It'll be the first thing to start the video, and it'll probably be the last thing to start the video.
No, I think they're saving it all.
Wait. The first and last thing
I misspoke, John. You know me.
I'm not gonna call you out on there. You're not gonna go because I'm an asshole.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, I love you.
So I don't think they start the conference with it. I think they start the conference with Metroid and end it with Smash Brothers.
Yeah, and then Smash, and then it'll lead directly into Treehouse.
No, I disagreed. I think they'll start with Smash. Because
they know everyone's here for Smash.
I'm a big Metroid guy, but I'd be a fool to think that it means more than Smash.
Yeah, but no, John. Here's the thing: you save the thing that everybody's waiting for the end, so that you make people watch everything else.
Yeah, but at the same time, though, you're gonna get those that are gonna dismiss everything beforehand because when are they getting the Smash? They don't look at the product beforehand because that's not what they want.
Well, that's not necessarily true. They ended on Odyssey last year.
Yeah, and Odyssey was their big game. So I think that, and they've done that before too, is they've shown off the small stuff first and they end on the big reveal. That's usually how these things go. So I think that they show off Metroid first because that's, again, something that people are going crazy about. And then they end it on Smash Brothers, which they know is what everybody's really there to see. So...
we will see.
Like, I mean, I don't think we need to talk about specific characters we want to see.
No, we had a discussion for that. We both had our own videos. Yeah.
Yeah, but, okay, so here's the one thing that I do want to ask, though. What do you think, gameplay-wise, would excite you guys for them to show off in this next Smash Brothers?
Proper story mode.
Okay. Because that's one of the things I was thinking too. Because if you look,
legit single player stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you look at the series from kind of a step back, the base mechanics have not really changed since Melee. I mean, small things have changed, sure. You know, you're gonna whine at me about wave dashing or L canceling or whatever. But like the base rules that everybody understands have been the same since Melee.
Which is fine. That's kind of inherently a problem with all fighting games.
I think what would excite me the most is either a complete engine overhaul, which I don't expect.
Which isn't gonna happen
no.
based on release.
Or a major change to the mechanics in some way, shape, or form. I don't know what that would be.
I think that would be kind of foolish considering not only Smash Brothers as like basically their premier multiplayer franchise, but as kind of an esport at the moment.
Yeah, but I don't want the games to get stale, you know, because I love Smash 4, but even then, it's very clear that it's an updated Brawl, which was an updated Melee.
And and competitively, that's what Smash Switch is going to be. It's just going to be more of the same, more characters, more stages and stuff. That's, I think, mode-wise is what's going to be the exciting thing.
Yeah, the modes in like maybe like a new tweak to like
every stage has a boss battle now.
No. Like maybe if you do something a la reuse Final Smash where they have like 2 different kind of smashes, or like very minor moveset changes like that.
Okay. You see, I know that what I'm talking about right now is not gonna. I know that this isn't gonna excite a lot of people, but what would excite me personally is something to get changed drastically. I know that's not what most people want, but I'm more important than you guys.
Oh, okay.
So you should cater to me because that's how
Sakurai listens to you exclusively.
Yes.
Never ask me for anything from else.
BFFs.
Yeah, you see, I was the only one who wanted Corrin in Smash Brothers, which is why we haven't.
As you wish, Ted. Oh,
so it's your fault.
Chris too. Fuck.
You're the reason why it's called Fire Emblem Brothers now.
Fire Emblem.
We're going to add every Fire Emblem character except for Ike. And
oh no, the Hector one.
So Fire Emblem Warriors.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody but Ike and Hector. So, yeah. Like, I mean, I'm sure we'll probably, when we do our post-E3 stuff, we'll probably make an entire Smash video like we did
last time.
So, yeah, because it's damn Smash Brothers and we're forced to. But, yeah, Inkling. I want to see Inkling footage. That's like,
I think that'll be one of the first things we'll see when they reveal the trailer.
Oh man,
it's gonna be. You're gonna get a big glorious trailer with Inkling and maybe like 1 or 2 other newcomers.
Yeah, I don't expect them to announce an awful lot of new people, like maybe 1 or 2 other Nintendo people and whatever their big third party.
Are they gonna actually announce? Is Ridley coming? Is Ridley coming to Smash?
He's in Smash.
Yeah, he's in Smash.
Good answer. Good answer.
He's been in every Smash since like Melee.
He was in 1.
Yeah, he was in the original. He was a background object in the original.
Oh, exactly.
There you go.
See?
Okay, good answer. I approve.
Yeah.
All right.
So do we get like Crazy Foot now, or like Master Foot? Because we've already got
God,
both hands.
Master Foot. That sounded gross.
Master Foot.
Master Earlobe. Master
Earlobe. And Master Head.
Which one?
Ooh,
yeah. Well, if they make it Master Head, then they'll have Nintendo's best.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Ever.
I think Smash pays homage to every single Nintendo tradition except the most obvious one, which is a giant head and 2 hands.
And 2 hands.
Okay, so the weird thing with that is if we're gonna continue with Smash 64 logic of Master Hand and Crazy Hand just being the kid playing with his toys, now the kid with his head is gonna start attacking his toys via his head.
No, it's Sakurai's head.
Yeah, every kid has that. Every kid has that face where they're like chewing on shit, and so the head is just trying to eat you.
What if hot take? What if it's Dr. Kawashima or whatever it is from Brain Age?
Yeah.
It's been him the whole time.
I mean that'd be funny, but
don't bring back Master Core. That's like Master Core is awful.
Master Fortress was
bad. No Master Core, please.
Taboo coming back.
Change Classic back to the way it used to be.
Classic.
See, that's the thing, is modes-wise, Smash 4, I think, fails.
Yeah.
Competitively, it's fine. It's the best Smash yet. But mode-wise, Classic mode is not good in both versions, personally.
I liked Classic 3DS.
Classic 3DS was okay.
It was better
a nice
than
attempt at being something different, but
Smash Tour, no.
Smash Run needs to be done good this time. 'cause
With
that's
online and multiple
wasted-
maps.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's wasted potential on 3DS.
I hated how
but
for
yeah.
like stages in Smash, you can either play them in Final Destination mode or with the bosses and the obstacles. Like, there's no in between.
Yeah.
So you want an option to just turn off stage?
Yeah, because like I would like to play on Gower Plain. It's cool. It's a
But
simple big stage.
I don't want Metalhead interrupting my
Yeah,
fight.
yeah. Same with the Metroid stage. I don't want to deal with Ridley.
Or
Yeah,
Yellow Devil.
Here's the thing that I would like is just more stages that are designed to be competitively viable. Because I'm not a competitive person, but I hate.
Are you
whenever
not sick of
people do
Animal
decide
Crossing,
to-
bro?
Yeah, because the only stages that anybody ever plays competitively are like Final Destination, the Battlefields, and Animal Crossing, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know, like I want to be able to see the other themes in these matches. You know, like okay, I love Pikmin, and I would like to hear Pikmin music when people are playing competitively, but nobody's ever gonna pick, you know, whatever the distant planet because oh no, waterfalls aren't competitively viable, and I was like, okay, whatever, man. So yeah, that would be cool. I think you're right in that bringing back Subspace Emissary would be exciting if they did it good this time.
Yeah,
'cause
especially with all the characters that are there now, and they still try to incorporate all of them.
Imagine trying to
I'm
make a
under the-
story where Sonic, Mega Man, Cloud, and Mario team up.
That'd be sick. That'd be really cool.
And Ryu shows up.
Yeah.
As long as they use the franchises effectively, because I'm under the opinion that Subspace Emissary itself is boring, because I don't want to fight random blob Heartless. I want to fight actual
Nintendo enemies.
Yeah.
So, you know, and a lot of the worlds weren't really based off of Nintendo worlds either.
No, it was
You know,
only like
you
there's
had-
like the Donkey Kong world, and that was it.
Like, the only interesting level that felt like a level from a Nintendo area is when they're in the Peach and Zelda are escaping the Halberd. That's really it. So, you know, making it more feel like a Nintendo crossover story and not having stupid Heartless monsters is the thing if they're going to bring that back. I hope that's the case if they do it. You know?
Yeah.
Also, get rid of Rob. We don't need Rob.
No, I like Rob.
Why?
You're the only person on the planet who does.
I'm big. Like Smash, my appeal with Smash is how fan servicey it is. So the fact they made
Yeah,
a
but-
playable character out of Rob is, I think, really neat.
Here's the thing about Rob. You're either too young to remember him at all, or you're old enough to have actually played with him and you know he sucks.
That's what archives are for.
But yeah, that's our pre-3 discussion as we do every year. Always a good time. Thanks for joining us, Anthony.
Yeah, this was fun. Thank you so much for having me.
Cool. Now smash that like button.
And ring,
And
smash
ring the
that
bell, and then
multiple
be sure to
multiple
click
times.
every notification, not
Yeah.
just sometimes.
Because they're releasing Super Notification Bros 5. I get
Be
it.
sure to rate this video 5 stars.
Yeah.
Um,
And leave a nice review on Yelp.
If you liked it, leave a video response.
leave a video response.
Yeah, video. Oh my god, video responses.
Be sure to like our page on MySpace.
Holy shit.
You can find me on
yeah.
LinkedIn at